what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And we are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike G. As always, with me are Philly Chris, Russ the producer, and Liberty Lee. And you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to our program every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting MikeGinTheMorning.com. What's it called, Philly Chris?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
Should I call you Florida Chris these days? Or anywhere but Philly Chris?
That's right. Yeah, we'll go with that for now.
What's it called, Russ the producer?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
How about you, Liberty?
MikeGinTheMorning.com.
You can check out all of our social media platforms. You can check us out on YouTube, see all the madness that Mike G and Philly Chris are up to during the week. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, tell my Uncle Jerry, tell anybody who'll listen to check out MikeGinTheMorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the powerhouse lineup we've got here at WFYL, the Freedom Station. Kick off your mornings with Scott Adams, bringing you the Scott Adams Show weekdays from 9 a.m. right until 11. A friend of the Mike G in the Morning program, Rick Crump, bringing you the Kinetic Faith, preaching values, service, and order, weekdays at 11 a.m. We've got the one, the only, Dan the Man Bongino, coming at you weekdays from noon right until 3 p.m. We've got Intellectual Giant, Ben Shapiro, bring you the Ben Shapiro Show weekdays from 3 until 5 p.m. And finally, he's been a part of the Freedom Station for quite some time, so I can no longer welcome him to the Freedom Station family. But check out Michael Knowles, bringing you the Michael Knowles Show weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and show him some love. And with that, you know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Stick around later in the program for those test results. We've got him with us, so he's not in the ground yet. Philly Chris, Florida Chris, whatever you want to call him. You know, folks, that video was a whole lot of fun. Chris made a good little production out of it. But what I'm about to discuss with you is not by any stretch of the imagination a laughing matter. Folks, there is a COVID crisis underway that not many people are presently aware of. And I've been in touch with a concerned citizen who provided me with some fascinating information. Now, all of what I'm about to share with you is straight from the CDC and US Health and Human Services. We'll tell you exactly how to find it. I'll tell you this story is moving and developing faster than we can keep up with. But the bottom line here today is that there are drugs available to treat COVID after you get infected. That's right, there are drugs available to treat COVID after you get infected. And the federal government, in a rush to judgment, discontinued 2 of the 3 products and left the market in a dire shortage, just as the winter wave of COVID cases started to explode. And according to one doctor, he said, quote, people are definitely going to die because of this. And I will say this, to give him credit, my source, very intelligent individual, had all of this laid out for me, all this presented for this program prior to this doctor coming on out and confirming what my source had suspected. And now these officials are scrambling to reverse their decision because they've been caught red-handed. They've been caught with their pants down. But still, they're leaving millions of sick Americans without these treatments. Now, first, I'm going to need to explain monoclonal antibodies. Now, this is a type of drug that's been available for over a year. Some of you may have heard of it through the Joe Rogan program. He used it as part of his treatment when he was infected with COVID. What it is, it's a synthetic antibody. It's a form of a synthetic antibody, custom tailored to the coronavirus. And you get it through an IV when you're sick with COVID. Now, under the Trump administration, the federal government granted an emergency use authorization for several of these products to treat the disease. You may have heard President Trump himself received it. And the federal government deems it safe and effective, and it seems to reduce hospitalizations for COVID. You should definitely have a conversation with your healthcare providers about this treatment because it's most effective in the first week of illness. It's important to keep in mind. Now, there is a catch with the monoclonal antibodies. It's custom tailored to the virus, and as the virus mutates, these antibodies can become less effective. They need to attach to the virus cells, so if the surface of the virus changes, the key, so to speak, no longer fits. Now, you may have heard, unless you live under a rock, about the Omicron variant. And this is the latest version of the coronavirus. Some lab studies have shown that the existing monoclonal antibody treatments, which were very effective against Delta, are no longer effective against Omicron. And last week, 2 days before Christmas, HHS made the decision that these products should no longer be provided to sick Americans. And they did so using faulty and incorrect data. Chris, what do you always say about this?
Garbage in, garbage out, Michael.
Garbage in means garbage out.
That's right.
Allow me to explain. So on December 23rd, the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response issued a pause of the distribution of the Lilly and Regeneron monoclonal antibody products. Russ, why don't you pull up source number 1 over there? And this is where we're getting this from. You can find exactly what we're talking about. Everything that we're saying right now can be verified. We're verifying it for you on the screen. And they cited 2 things in here. The studies have reduced effectiveness against Omicron, and that part is correct, and the increasing frequency of the Omicron variant in the United States. And when the ASPR made this decision, they were looking at the CDC's variant tracker. Russ, click reference number 2 for this one. This is exactly what we're looking at. This is where we're pulling this from.
You brought the receipts today, Michael.
I did. We're in court. I'm showing exhibits.
Yes, I like it.
I don't like to talk out of my armpits. This is a table that shows how much of the circulating virus is Omicron versus Delta. When they looked at this chart on December 23rd, the most recent estimate was 72% Omicron, up from about 20% the week prior. Russ hit reference number 3 for this. So they made the conclusion that it was spreading incredibly fast, obviously.
Right.
72% up from 20%. And by the time anyone came asking for monoclonal antibodies, they would almost certainly have Omicron based on these numbers. Now, I disagree with that decision, but I'll come back to that later. Because the data was wrong.
Surprise,
it was
surprise.
wrong. When you look at that same chart today, for the week ending December 18th, you see 22%, not 72%, 22%. Wildly inaccurate.
Not good.
And for the next week, they're only expecting 59% Omicron. Russ hit reference number 4 for this. Now, the reason, folks, that the actual sampling is 2 to 3 weeks old. That's the issue here. 2 to 3 weeks old. Most recent 2 weeks are estimates. They are making decisions that affect your health care based on probabilities and projections, and they're screwing it up. According to Nate Silver, famous political analyst, after he looked at this correction, he said, quote, "I think we have to assume the CDC's method is crap and should be ignored." Take a look at reference 4A, Russ. That's exactly where that comes from. He certainly said it. Here's why it matters. Just since December 23rd, 1.6 million Americans have been infected with coronavirus. Hit reference number 5. I'm not talking out of my armpits here. Many of them here, right here in Pennsylvania. We're seeing record case numbers and test positivity percentages. Hit reference number 6 for that. If we take their most recent figure of 41% Delta at face value, that's nearly 700,000 people who were in the first week of Delta variant infection, but are being denied the opportunity to receive a safe, effective, and life-saving medical treatment. Now, not all of these people would get the treatment anyway, not saying that, but none of them, exactly 0, have the chance. That's what I'm saying. If it's more than 41% Delta, then even more people are going to be affected. Keep in mind, these big numbers of Omicron, they're estimates. The only number they provide based on actual samples shows 92% Delta through December 11th. The only thing they have based on legitimate samples, 92% Delta, all of which could be positively impacted with this treatment. Yet 0 of them are going to get it. Hit reference number 7. As long as this decision stays in effect, the number of people who will be refused this treatment will increase. Folks, I'm not here to alarm everybody. That is not my goal. That is not my MO. But this is a humanitarian crisis. This is a death panel. I will say this. If you believe that COVID is a hoax and does not exist, then this means nothing. This is totally irrelevant. I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. Just ignore this. Nothing's going on. But the fact of the matter is, each and every one of us knows somebody who has been affected by COVID, right? That is a fact. And we can talk rhetoric all we want, and this may not be a popular opinion, but I don't know anybody who had SARS, so I don't know anybody who died of SARS. I don't know anybody who had MERS, so I don't know anybody who died of MERS. People say all the time there are people who are dying of this that could have died from the flu, could have died from a cold. I will tell you this, I do not know anybody who died from a cold. I'm not saying it's never happened. George Washington essentially died from a cold, but I don't personally know anybody who did. I don't personally know anybody who died from the flu. I do know people who have had COVID, right? One of them might be sitting right here. One of them might be sitting on the other side of the screen. You got to wait for the results till the end of the program.
Coming soon.
Big announcement.
People have died. No, people whose families have been affected by this.
Right. Yeah, I think
if you don't believe it, I'm not saying that the government has not manipulated this and used it nefariously for political gain. I'm not saying that. I'm not ignoring the fact that certain politicians have used this, taken advantage of the opportunity of this pandemic. And they've politicized it, certainly. They've made people lose faith in their government as a result, try to use it to their advantage. They've weaponized it. I'm not saying that the government should be mandating anything. I'm sure everybody knows my position on that. I'm not even saying that the government hasn't used this as a power grab, hasn't used this as an opportunity to increase their power, to increase their overreach. But if you're going to say it doesn't exist at all, then I can't help you. This is of no news. You might as well just flip the channel. But if you think that there is something to this, and that people may very well need this treatment that's being refused by the government, then you might want to stick around. There is one monoclonal antibody product that is still available. They're only making 355,000 doses available through January. And since it's used for all variants, those doses will be rationed across the millions of people infected in December and January. We're already up to 4.7 million cases in December. Russ hit reference number 8. Will January be more? In Texas, they have no monoclonal antibodies to offer. None. Reference number 9. In Florida, their Surgeon General is calling this a life-threatening shortage. Sure, you heard the governor go out there talk about it.
Yeah.
Hit reference number 10, Florida Surgeon General. And here's where the story turns. After this tremendous backlash, HHS tried to cover their tracks. They revised their decision on Wednesday. Hit reference number 11. They decided that under certain conditions, the 2 treatments can still be released. 1, if your region has, quote, less than 80% prevalence of Omicron. Or 2, if the testing site can test their patients for which variant they have. But look, folks, this new order is still heavily restricting the flow of direly needed medicine. They're putting roadblocks and hurdles between their sick citizens and the medicine that they themselves say is effective. Hit reference number 11 for that one. Reference number 12, rather.
12?
Think about that.
What?
They got caught with their pants down. They got caught red-handed. And they make it seem as if they're correcting something that they got wrong. We only got it a little bit wrong. Here's what we're going to do to fix it. But the fix is no fix at all. I mean, just look at the CDC tracker. Even by their own most current projections, do you know how much of the country is less than 80% Omicron? 43 states. 43. You hit reference number 13 for that one.
Mike, I don't have a 12 or 13.
All right,
It's
then you
not in the
can't hit
doc.
reference
You
12
can't
or
hit
13.
it then, yeah.
No.
I'll ask George Washington about that. Since
There you go. We'll
Yeah.
provide at a later date.
George Washington dropped the ball on that.
I think by now everybody knows that if I'm saying it, it is there.
Right.
Don't talk.
Mike,
Excuse
I
me.
have
How
the
many
doc
people
over here.
in these 43 states had to go 6 whole days without treatment?
It's
We said
ridiculous.
it's most effective in the
Mhm.
first week, right?
Right.
Because of their screw up, 6 days without treatment.
It's not right.
It's painfully obvious.
Hmm.
These people are not equipped to make these decisions.
Yeah, you got that right.
To turn the flow off of life-saving medicine on and off based on their models and charts, garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
And somebody needs to resign at the very least over this.
Well, we know that won't happen.
Nothing's going to happen and nobody's going to get in trouble.
Right. Oh, you were right, by the way, about the Cuomo thing.
Just like Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
Well, was
He
he
just got
suicided
off.
by the Clintons?
No, they just dropped the charges, I believe. I heard.
Oh,
They
They
that's
thought something was going to happen.
convenient.
Remember, you said nothing's going to happen, Mike, and then something kind of
Nothing's going to
happened.
happen. He's not going to get in trouble.
Right. And then we
Wow.
thought, there was a chance maybe something would happen, but
Now, let me tell you this,
I have
because
to give
this
you back
story
the
came
meatball
out in the New
sandwich?
York Post after our source contacted me and provided me with all of this information, confirming exactly what my source said. And a
Mhm.
quote from the Maryland doctor, you could reference number 11 for this, I believe, Russ, which it should be that New York Post article.
Yes.
Bring that up so everybody can check that out for themselves.
okay.
Yes, they have this.
And a quote from this
smelly
doctor,
video.
he's a doctor and a healthcare CEO. He said, I am as angry as I possibly can be about this. I don't know how many people throughout the country are dead, dying in the hospital, or about to be hospitalized because of the mistakes that they just made. Now, I said I would get back to something. They made this decision based on probabilities. They assumed that almost everyone who would be infected would get Omicron. And say that's correct. But suppose that there were no error. That alone is still immoral and unethical. Because as a patient, you are not told what variant you have.
Mm-hmm.
Your doctor can't prove
Right.
that you have Omicron or that you don't have Delta. They can't do it. These analyses are done in a lab. They're not sent back to you. And it would be too late for effective monoclonal antibody treatment, even if they were. You can't rely on this exception for if your treatment site decides to test you and can do so and can do it quickly enough. So if there's a possibility that you have the Delta variant, if your doctor can't say with certainty that you don't have the Delta, that should be on them.
Yeah.
They should have the burden of proof.
Right. Good point.
And if they can't say that you don't with absolute certainty, beyond a reasonable doubt, and the federal government denies your access to effective medicine, then this government, which is supposed to be of the people, has failed you. I'm sure that comes of no surprise to anybody with this backwards logic.
Mhm.
They failed you. Those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. I think it's very interesting how we're hearing you have people who have been double vaccinated, received the booster, are getting breakthrough cases based on Omicron, right? The way the vaccine works is it forces your body to mimic that spike protein, right? Forces your body to mimic that, Philly Chris?
Yeah, that's what they say. Right.
Okay, so what they say,
Yeah.
well, let's go by what they say,
Right.
because we want to use this to go through this logically, right?
Mm-hmm.
In concept, if that what it were, it would not be an exact match to the mutated version of the virus, right?
Correct.
So it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That happens, it kills off all of that original virus. The way somebody described it to me, he said, let's say you're in a field You get a bunch of people in there. You say, okay, bring a bunch of hunters out there, shoot everybody who wears an orange hat. Well, sooner or later, you're going to have no orange hats left.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that there's no people out there.
Exactly.
There could be people with green hats and purple hats, and they can make babies, and sooner or later, you get everybody. And there's no order to
Right.
kill the people with the green hats and the purple hats.
Yeah. I always wear a purple hat when I hunt, by the way.
Yeah, on purpose, right? Because you know about the order.
That's right. That's right. I don't want to be one of those
But if
orange
you
hat
have
guys.
the same exact issue, right? You have the
Mhm.
same exact issue, or let's just say it's substantially similar, right? I don't want to say
Yeah, there
same
you go.
exact. Let's say the issue is similar.
Yeah.
Yet they're still telling everybody to go ahead and get the vaccine.
Right.
Yet they're taking this treatment option off the table for what
Mhm.
seems to be a very similar reason. What is that telling you? Why do they not want treatment available? What can it be?
it's-
Do they think that that would cause additional vax hesitancy? Because people will say, oh, well, if I do get it, then I'll have this treatment on the back end.
It's possible. You know, it's
The
hard to
same
get
thing,
in their
I've
head.
mentioned
Yeah,
this
yeah.
about when they deny natural immunity. What I've said is what may be going on is that they do not want people to intentionally get COVID. They don't want them going out there having COVID parties to get the natural immunity, right? Because disastrous things can happen. Somebody can have a case that kills them.
Sure.
But instead of saying that,
Right.
treating us like adults,
Yeah,
treat
well,
us
like-
like
Like
children,
to play games. You
and
know.
tell us about the boogeyman.
Right. Mhm.
Don't go near the ledge of the roof because the boogeyman's on the other side, right?
Exactly.
They're going to
Yeah,
tell us some lie
Mhm.
to try to keep us away from their legitimate fear.
Right.
But what that causes is nothing but distrust in the community.
They don't seem to learn their lessons. They just keep repeating, mistakes from the past. Yeah.
People see through this nonsense. They think that you are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and insult your intelligence. For those of us just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. All right. We'll put a pin in this for a little bit. We'll get to your
All right.
results later on in the program. We've
Sounds
got a
good.
limited window of opportunity to get the other half of the Justice Brothers on the program, attorney Richard Roberts, to discuss a case that just came down in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. Something that will be interesting to all of our listeners, undoubtedly. So, Russ, why don't you go ahead and get attorney Richard S. Roberts Jr. on the call. Where are you right now, Philly Chris? Can you say?
I am
You're in an undisclosed location?
Yeah, an undisclosed location in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina, brother.
So you're not Philly Chris or Florida Chris.
That's correct. Right. North
You're
Carolina,
North Carolina
today,
Chris
yeah.
this week.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're on fire tonight. I love it, man.
When I see things like this going
Yeah.
on, right?
Sure.
And I get information like this from a solid source,
Right.
and it's not being portrayed out there in the mainstream media. And I have an inkling
Mm-hmm.
that if this person were to go out there, that everybody would throw tomatoes at him and call him a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, well,
And it turns out to be confirmed. That irritates me.
right.
Richard Sherwood Roberts Jr., ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. He is here with us this evening to discuss some brand new case law. Richard, how you doing, brother?
Doing very well, Mike. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, good.
We're
Welcome
doing
to the
much
show.
better now that you've joined us. And you're
All right.
dressed for the occasion. You finally got the memo, right? You don't have to
I
wear a
got-
suit and tie on this. one.
It's New Year's week. I'm supposed to be on vacation.
Oh, there you
Nice.
go. That works. Well, we're very thankful that you've taken this time out of your vacation to join us and share a very special update with our audience members about a brand new case that came down from the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the recent case, I reread it again before getting on here, that established a new principle of law. It's going to protect our rights a bit more. I think it's a opportunity where the law finally caught up with the law, if that makes any sort of sense.
Sure. Now, this is something that has to do with marijuana, right? And this is something we get
Correct.
pretty
It's-
frequently. We get people ask us about medical marijuana and possession of firearms, and we've always got to tell them that even if it's legal in your state, it's still legal federally, and you're technically an unlawful user and cannot lawfully possess firearms. But this
Right,
goes
we
a little
usually
further.
get that question this is really deals with constitutional. You and I definitely get that question on a daily basis about, hey, got my medical marijuana card. What does that mean for my firearms license? What does that mean my ability to possess firearms? I go, well, you can't. They go, what do you mean? Are you using it? Yeah, I use it for a variety of legitimate reasons.
Mhm.
And I go, yeah, well, that's your Second Amendment rights go away.
Yeah.
So that's the cost, and then they're unfortunately stuck. But here, as most people I'm sure to the program know, medical marijuana was legalized in Pennsylvania recently a few years ago, and an old rule was that an odor of marijuana alone, if an officer approached your vehicle, was enough to search it, which makes sense because in order to search a vehicle, we have to establish probable cause. They don't need a warrant. A vehicle is an exception to the warrant requirement, but they need to possess, under the totality of circumstances, facts and information sufficient to say that this person or people in the car are engaged in criminal activity. Well, up until a couple years ago, marijuana was illegal. They smelled marijuana. That's illegal.
Plain
Gotta
and
be some
simple.
criminal activity. That was pretty straightforward, black and white rule. So it makes
Hang
sense.
on. I've got a couple of questions about this, Rich. So when you talk about how it makes sense, legally it makes sense, certainly. But there is certainly, as a practical matter, room for abuse on the side of law enforcement.
Oh,
Meaning, how often do they smell marijuana when they want to search the vehicle? This
every time
happened
they ever wanted to search the vehicle, they
every time.
Wow.
I made a joke about this to my family when COVID. I made a joke about this when COVID was starting to come around, and if you ever get symptoms, everybody says, "Oh no, go ahead, stay at home." I said, I have a feeling that anytime there's some kind of an event or a function that I want to get out of, I'm going to start to feel these symptoms similar to the way law enforcement officers often smell marijuana, in air quotes, every time they want to search a vehicle, because we see this all the time, right? They just happen to smell marijuana.
Mm.
Well, yeah, it's like every DUI case. They got bloodshot, glassy-eyed, slurred speech, and walk with a staggered gait. I go, really? How many of those is written in? Let's see your last 100 arrests. Oh, look, they all had that. Every single person
Every
felt
single
those same three things. Really? Yes. Oh, okay. It's so common they all have it, right? Yeah.
I get a picture of you being up there arguing for me. Your Honor, he didn't have slurred speech. The guy's from Brooklyn. He always talks like that.
I've used that. It's from New York. Have you ever met from New York? No, I haven't. Well, that's the way they talk. They're not.
Yeah. Well, the officer had he's never heard the driver before that interaction, right? So how would they know how they normally talk? But anyway,
True. Good
I'm
point.
pulling you off on a tangent over here just because I thought that was interesting about how legally it certainly makes sense, as you mentioned. If it was plain and simple, when it's plain and simple illegal and they smell marijuana, then that gets them in. But
Correct.
it just so happens that everybody smells marijuana when they want to take a look inside.
Of course, I odor of marijuana. So in this particular case, what happened is they got pulled over for a minor traffic violation. They made a left-hand turn and they came to a underpass where it's only one car at a time. He stopped past the white line. I rolled my eyes because that's a cop 101. It's technically a traffic stop. We stopped them for that. They stopped them because they wanted to for other reasons. But unfortunately, that's a traffic. So they pull the car over. They come up. On their approach, they smell an odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. They approach the driver's side. They approach the passenger side. The passengers nodding in and out of consciousness or in and out of sleep. They smell an odor of marijuana. They ask him to step out of the car. The guy gets belligerent and angry. Rest of the police department shows up. He becomes more compliant. He produces a medical marijuana card. They said, okay. They didn't believe at the time that using medical marijuana, which is interesting to most people don't, you can't technically smoke marijuana, as those who are familiar with in college or whatnot remember smoking marijuana. It's usually vaporizing it. Didn't believe that could have a odor of marijuana that they smelled, an odor of burnt marijuana. So they eventually search the car. They find marijuana. They find a firearm, and the rest is history. So they challenged the suppression motion, and Judge Dantos, who unfortunately is done at the midnight tomorrow in Lehigh County, granted suppression. The argument from the Commonwealth was an odor of marijuana. The guy was yelling and screaming, and their quote experience is if somebody gets belligerent with the officer, they're engaged in criminal activity. That was an interesting argument. And the always important, it was a, quote, high crime area. Well, Judge Dantos correctly talked about high crime areas being complete nonsense. And their concurring opinion, the Superior Court said he's about tired of this high crime area because you don't get to lose your constitutional rights simply because there's crime in your area. You get as much right to constitutional rights as those in nice neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods. It's all treated equally, which is always important to me because I hate that one. There was no evidence that somebody gets belligerent with the cops engaged in criminal activity, but the bottom line was, is the Supreme Court said, yes, correct. In the past, an odor of marijuana would be enough to search a vehicle because it was illegal. There was no legal way to use it. But now there is a legal, legitimate way to use it. Now, an odor of marijuana in conjunction with other factors could lead to probable cause, but an odor of marijuana in and of itself is not probable cause to search a vehicle. The officer has to point to other factors that lead them to the opinion that criminal activity is ongoing. It's a great win. And the interesting thing from our typical analysis when it comes to firearms law is they analogize this case to the Hicks case.
Right.
And said, possession of a firearm in and of itself is not evidence of criminal activity. You can't stop somebody simply because they have a firearm, because there's 1,000,001 reasons why somebody every day possesses a firearm legally. And simply having a firearm is not illegal. Now, simply having marijuana or an odor of marijuana is not illegal without something more.
Right. And, when the Hicks case was not yet, had not yet come down, we spoke about this. It would be similar to, logically, the police officers stopping everybody on the road who's driving because, oh, well, you're driving and you need a license to drive, so we're going to need to see that license, right?
Right.
Same thing. Medical marijuana, need a card to do that. Well, we're going to need to see that card, right?
Right. But the issue is you don't have to prove that you have a medical marijuana card. You can say nothing.
Well, just like you don't have to prove you got a driver's license, right?
Right. Right. You can say, I smell marijuana. Okay.
That's nice. I smell daisies.
I mean that's really the situation. It's they can't use an odor of marijuana. Say we can search a car. We got a question from your buddy Scott over in the Lehigh Valley. It says, since marijuana is still illegal on a federal level, wouldn't the police officers still be justified in searching for it once they smell it, or is federal law out of their jurisdiction? So the situation for Scott is, unless they're enforcing federal law and part of some sort of federal drug task force, the answer to that question would be no. Because operating as they were in this case, local police departments, the Allentown Police Department, they're enforcing state and city ordinances, state law, city ordinances. However, he makes a good point. Obviously, local law enforcement on many occasions gets involved with the DEA and the FBI, usually not stopping people for running stop signs for a small amount of marijuana. But in that case, it could be a justification for a search. Although in that case, you'd bring it in federal court where it's still illegal and they could use the smell and odor of marijuana as probable cause. You talked about how we swerved over the line. Didn't you have a case where you ended up getting the footage and you brought the case before the judge and the judge agreed with you, said, yeah, maybe barely once, but that's done enough? Correct. It's called a momentary and minor deviation. So basically the law says nobody's expected to drive exactly perfectly, and the officer can't take a momentary and minor deviation. That's reason to stop you. You got to do something more than that. They're like, okay, I drive down the street and 100 people do that. That's not really a big deal. So it's got to be something more serious. In this particular instance, it was he stopped beyond the white line where it marks where you need to stop for a stop sign. Gotcha. Yeah, I've got a client where we got him a pardon, and that's how he got popped for one of his old DUIs. Stopped too far.
It must not have been in Philly where they no longer stop you for minor violations, right?
Do they even stop at stop signs there?
They publicly announced that, remember, a few weeks back.
Aren't all the stop signs stolen?
Hey, listen, I'm not going to complain about that.
I'm not either.
You get more nonsense from stupid, my brake light was out than you can possibly imagine.
True.
Mike and I can certainly attest to that.
Yeah. I wonder if you could argue now if they did stop you for like a minor thing that you could argue, oh, you weren't supposed to do that. You guys
That would be an
publicly
interesting
announced.
argument.
Yeah.
There we
Violation
go.
of
If
policy.
anybody from the Philadelphia area got stopped for a silly traffic violation, call Mike and I. We'd
Right.
love to take the case.
Call the Justice Brothers.
Right.
Because I don't know, that'd be interesting because how would that work? Like in the Philadelphia court system, if we're a municipal or the Court of Common Pleas in Philadelphia, say they're not supposed to stop, they went outside the scope. But once you
Right.
get to the Superior Court Court's going to say, we're talking about Pennsylvania law. He didn't stop for the stop sign. Well, no, that's probable cause to me. What are you arguing, counselor? Well,
Right.
let's fill it up. I mean, that'd be an interesting
Hmm.
how you'd have to do that. But
That's why I was
mean,
surprised they did it publicly.
Right, because you can make
It's
an
a
argument.
trap.
Trap.
Right.
Right.
We'll leave it to the Justice Brothers to figure out.
Watch what you do, officer. I got the Justice Brothers on speed dial.
That's right. Call 1-800-JUSTICEBROTHES.
They all
Oh,
wanted to meet
gee.
their quotas, right? Isn't that something to do? Go out there, say, hey, we're not enforcing no more. Go ahead, run all the stop signs you
Yeah.
want, and just light everybody up and write them.
Light everybody up.
Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know.
Right?
Although the
People
rules are
let their
definitely not
guard down a
followed
little
down there.
bit. So,
Well, I mean, for enforcing the laws, I have to say, when it comes to practicing law in Philadelphia from a criminal standpoint, I like it. It's just very efficient and it moves.
Okay.
Although I hate getting in. I think Mike and I have had this conversation. We're there. We have quite a few cases by this point in Philadelphia. I said, Mike, I love coming down here. The judges are always no nonsense.
Mhm.
They kick the prosecutors as much as they kick the defense attorneys. I haven't run into a case where I've felt like there's a second prosecutor in the room. I was like, if I could just skip the ride into the city, that would be great.
all right. Or
Just-
waiting in the elevator on the first floor, right?
Yeah, that's
Eh,
true.
That can take you an extra 15, 20 minutes once you get through the doors of the courthouse.
And then,
Right.
yeah, the worst is that there's an escalator that goes to the second floor. They get in the elevator, they hit 2. I want to kick them out of the elevator. Like, why are we? You could have taken the escalator. It's right there. You literally walked by it to get to the elevator.
Was Russ at the courthouse that day?
Russ on the elevator.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting case moving on forward here. It seems interesting how with Philly, it's either one extreme or the other, though. You're talking about them not enforcing minor violations, yet they've got the cameras everywhere that bust your every little thing
That's
with
true.
with the red lights, right?
And aren't they
Have you ever
really
dealt with any of those
unconstitutional, the
cases
cameras?
With the cameras. You ever
Because
dealt with one of those
you
cases?
can't question your accuser, right, in court. You can't question the camera.
You're a robot
Indeed.
guy, Philly, Chris.
Right?
Robots are people.
Yeah,
too.
robot, right? Robot. There's the camera. There's the authenticated camera. But constitutionally, the issue you run into with those cameras is you have no right to privacy because you're out in the open.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen
People
one
have asked
person.
that. People have asked that about, they have license plate readers, which in Pennsylvania is the reason you don't have to buy those registration stickers anymore. Because the police department's all they're like, oh, I got to. I was like, your license plate can be seen by anybody at any time, so you have to
Gotcha.
establish a right to privacy before you get Fourth Amendment protection.
Okay.
And that's why there have been multiple United States Supreme Court cases dealing with whether you have a right to privacy for X, Y, and Z, right? The garbage that's set out on the curb, for example,
Mhm.
which you don't
Right.
have, right? Or
But once you
that-
set it out in the curb, you've given up any right to privacy over it because it's out on the curb for some random third party to take. Right.
Right. Right.
and the other being, I believe, the smell of your luggage was something they dealt with in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
That
You're
sounds
right.
like a really personal
Bank
problem.
statements was a real scary one that they dealt with. Remember that?
Right, because that really gets into it now. The biggest thing is information that all of us give up to third parties. So, for example, the latest and newest front in the Fourth Amendment is GPS locations from your cell phone and cell tower information from your cell phone. Do you have a right to privacy in that? Because you give it up to a third party, Verizon, T-Mobile, whoever.
Right.
Do you have a right to privacy in that information? Does the government need a warrant to get that information, or can they simply say, "Hey, Verizon, I need this for a phone number"? Da, 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 da. So, I mean, there's a lot of information, and the more and more we get into technology, it's really going to be interesting. And well, I say exciting because I get to litigate this stuff, which
Right.
always makes it happy for me. Just where the court's going to go, where do we draw the line to what is still private in this new age and new technology? What's
Sure.
private, what isn't? It's fascinating because it used to be The original right to privacy is established in the famous Katz decision, and that's a phone booth. And what they said was when you close the door of the phone booth, if anybody's old enough, and I still am, to remember the phone booth, you had a right to privacy in that phone booth, because in that case, they put a listening device inside the phone booth. And then a subsequent case, if you remember from back in the day, where they had a phone bank where it's just against the wall and it's a bunch of fake dividers, you had no right to privacy there because you're just out in the open. Which is why after that decision, they did a study and showed the decrease in the number of phone booths and the increase in the number of phone banks.
Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
Of course.
How convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to show that reasonable expectation of privacy.
No more door on the phone booth, right?
Remember Paulie from Goodfellas? Rich? With the
Yeah.
phones? He wouldn't talk on the phones, right?
Wouldn't talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Is that still the wisest strategy?
Well, cell phone has killed the criminal enterprise because, those GPS trackers and those things, that's crazy. It's just, when you go to like 7-Eleven, you see the track phone. I'm like, that's the drug dealer phone. They're like, no. I'm like, yeah.
The burner phones?
The burner phone?
The burner.
Yeah, because everybody has it. Even your car nowadays. It's got all kind of GPS and low jack and tracking stuff.
Sure.
There's a black box in most cars.
Right.
There's been a case that was litigated at trial court level, whether the black box in somebody's car is admissible as evidence. Does the police need to get a warrant in a crash investigation to take the black box out of your car, or do they get it automatically? I don't know.
I'd say they need
Here's
a
some
warrant.
terrible case law from what I recall on OnStar in the vehicle. Terrible case law.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like terrifying case law. So you might want to look into that.
Well, the
Leave it to
Amazon
OnStar.
Alexa has been used in some murder trials too, I believe, because it's always
Right.
downloading stuff to servers.
Oh, speaking of Alexa, there was there was a report that this little girl asked Alexa, give me a challenge, and Alexa was like, touch an electrical socket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I didn't read the article. Yeah.
they're coming. Amazon's coming under fire for that. The
Sounds
thing
like a
is,
bad idea.
if Alexa was responsible for, like, if the little girl was stupid and did that, who's held responsible? Because that was an AI that did that. That would be the murderer.
Yeah, well.
Who's responsible in that case?
So if people are concerned about their privacy, Rich, what are some measures that they can take? Because you might have this group of people who say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you've got nothing to hide. I think that's nonsense. I think that
Famous last words, Mike.
Hey.
Right before they call us and say, hey, I got this letter in the mail and it says I got a preliminary hearing.
Right.
What does that mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that means you're charged with a crime. I didn't do anything. Well, you might think you didn't do anything.
Well, even if not, though, Rich, isn't there something to be said about your right to privacy? I mean, that's why we have these constitutional rights, is because
We do, but the right to privacy is not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, so it gets very iffy depending on how the justices will view it, to be honest with you. And the right to privacy sometimes gets enlarged and sometimes shrinks depending on the justices on the Supreme Court. I mean, the best thing you can do is not share a lot of information. Stuff you put on Facebook and Twitter isn't private. Stuff that you send via email, you send to third parties. But the problem is, honestly, in today's day and age, is we're dependent on technology and send information to third parties all the time.
Sure.
All the time. I store tons of stuff in the cloud. Right? I got an account for, Microsoft or Apple or somebody with a cloud storage system. And, us as law firms, we use legal software where we store documents in the cloud so we can get it wherever. There's a little bit more protection on that because beyond privacy, there's attorney-client privilege information. But still, we've given our information voluntarily to lots of third parties for modern convenience that we all enjoy. And eventually there's a reckoning to that when something is needed. And it may be, as simple as, do you get it from a third party and it's your spouse tracking it? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't always have to be nefarious in the police, but there's other things that you think are private that really aren't.
And we talk about having that extra layer with the attorney-client privilege, but And that it's almost as if that just happens to be there. Because the
Right.
fact of the matter is, we're dependent on the technology to a degree. And if we put ourselves in a different situation, so let's say the Justice Brothers were not attorneys at law and instead we ran a sandwich shop or something like that, would we still be using software to help us go about our business that would be turned over to a third party where we wouldn't have sandwich shop client privilege, right?
Right. And I can't imagine in modern society you could actually function as a business without that. I don't think it's possible. I really don't.
It would be hard. It would be
So
really
basically, what you can do about it is nothing.
hard.
Well, I mean, there's stuff. What you want to do is make sure you're limiting the information you share with people.
Mhm.
That's the best thing you can do when you're talking on the phone or talking about intimate information. Make sure you're somewhere where no one can listen. Make sure you're in your car with the door closed. Things like that. People, talk on the phone. I'm walking on the street. It's a private. No, it's not. You're on the middle of the street.
Mhm.
You're in the middle of the street. Anybody can listen. Well, I didn't want anybody to listen. Well, that's not the same as nobody can listen.
Right.
So, that's the issue. So
New
Mhm.
Yorkers are great at that, by the way. I remember growing up talking to my friends, be like, "Hey, remember that thing? Which thing? The thing with the thing. Oh yeah, what about that?" That's sort of, that's how people would talk over there.
Well, even in your car, there are devices you can use where there's a laser that you can point at a glass pane. So if you're in your car, you could point it at one of the windows and you can listen to the vibrations. So, depends on.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Philly
That's why
Chris,
the White House has
about
things that
this?
vibrate all the
No, I don't.
windows. What's
I don't
that?
know. Said Philly Chris, you know a little too much about that. I'm a little
Well,
scared.
Hello?
light bulbs too.
Yeah.
You can do it off a light bulb.
What I
There's
will
this
tell
hat
you-
made out of tinfoil that you can wear.
That's right. That's
What
right.
I will tell you about that when it comes to a legal challenge,
Mhm.
the late Justice Scalia had a great body of law that if you use what he referred to as beyond human capabilities to
Okay.
surveil somebody.
Very cool.
So famous cases, they thought somebody
Okay, is I gonna pay you or something?
Liberty,
Mar-
Okay. All right, I gotta go.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Yes.
There's
Mute
this
button.
magical thing
Yeah,
called a mute
you-
Oh
button.
no,
on
I'm
mute.
sorry.
You're
having
paying
a
somebody off over
conversation
there?
on
What's
mute.
going on?
Don't answer that question. Larry.
Right.
We're literally talking about.
Right. That's
We're literally.
Were you paying attention?
having a conversation on the air about.
I was using my laser device. She didn't realize I hit
guys-
the window. She was muted.
I feel like on the air is the least. It's like the opposite of security.
Yeah, not only
The
were
exact
other people-
opposite. Broadcasting.
100,000 people will hear you. Let's do it there.
Well, let me tell you, there is no suppression issue between anything we say on the air.
On the air, right? We got nothing.
Got nothing.
We
But
got
what I
nothing,
was
Your Honor.
It's with the laser light when it comes to the government surveillance. So the famous case, Justice Scalia ruled where they look into the house they think is growing marijuana using thermal imaging, and Justice Scalia said, well, the argument from the government, the successful argument until they got to the Supreme Court was, well, you're radiating it to the outside. It's heat, right? It's just something that's naturally coming off the thing. You're putting it out to the world. You don't have an expectation of privacy. And just so let's hold on. You used an imaging device to image the house to see that this particular part of the house was substantially warmer than another part of the house, which is evidence that they're doing a marijuana grow operation. The fact that you had to use some extra sensory thing to figure out what's going on in the house is a violation of the
Oh,
privacy in the
okay.
home.
Interesting. All right. That's good
So
to
you
know.
can't do that. The interesting thing, the concurring opinion in that case says they should have waited till the middle of winter when it just snowed, and when there's no snow on that side of the house and there's all kinds of snow on the other side of the house,
Right.
that would be easy to establish. Hey, I think something's going on here.
What's
So,
going on in the
there's
attic on
ways-
that side? Yeah.
Why is this house completely dry, but there's 5 feet of snow on the roof over here?
Right.
But that's using what anybody can see, which is the issue. The fact that it uses thermal imaging technology means that you're violating your privacy because you're using something that not every human walking down the street can see.
Okay. Good
So
to
what
know.
you want to do is, if you've got that kind of an operation, you go out there with the Elon Musk, not a flamethrower, right?
Right.
And you act like you're melting all the ice on that side. So that way it's like, oh, this is how it happened, right?
Well, it's often the electric bill too that gets them in trouble, right?
Correct.
Like crazy
You've seen
electric
that in
bill.
cases where the
Mhm.
electric bill's $10,000, like they're running some kind of massive retail store or a mall,
Right.
and they're like, "Wow, it's a single family home. That's I thought we were getting more efficient with fluorescent light bulbs and TVs. This guy's apparently only using 1940s light bulbs and TVs
Right.
24/7."
So they can't use X-ray glasses or anything like that.
Absolutely right. Same principle that happened in the Jardines case where they brought a drug sniffing dog to the door.
What about drones?
Well, drones are okay as long as they're in the federal government fly zone.
Wow.
Yes, they can use drones. Because as
So-
long as they're above that airspace, if they can see anything that's a plane or a helicopter could see, you're okay.
Are you allowed to
Wow.
shoot down the drone?
So let's say, and I'm not trying to be dirty or wacky here or anything like that, but let's say you've got basically an estate, right, where you've got tons of acreage.
Yep.
And you've got bushes everywhere and fences, so nobody can see in from the outside.
Right.
And you feel like walking around your yard in the nude when nobody else would be able to see. The government can fly overhead and watch you walk around the yard. In the nude.
So there's different expectations of privacy depending on where you're at in your home. So the first is a general area where anybody could walk up to. So driveway, porch, backyard that's not fenced in, where generally people have a right to walk up. That's all the outside of the area. Then you have the curtilage, which is usually that space between where a fence or a bush line would be and the actual door of your home. You have some expectation of privacy, but not a complete expectation of privacy. And in your home, you have the utmost expectation of privacy. So anybody who can not use extraordinary techniques. So if they have access to a helicopter, anybody flying overhead could see that. Even though the government decides to use a helicopter and fly overhead, that's fine. Anybody, a private citizen.
Yeah, I guess that's true, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing is can I go in a neighbor's house with permission, climb the tree, look into your yard, and see your marijuana plants? Well, yeah, because any Joe bloke down the street could go, "Hey, I want to see what's going on." So you have some expectation of privacy. They can't open the gate and look in. But if they can go from a legal vantage point and look into your yard, despite the fact it's fenced in, you got trees surrounding the property where you can't see in, they can go from a legal vantage point and look in. They can look in without a warrant.
Excuse
That
me while I
is a
peek
good
into
point.
your
So
curtain.
basically, you can never walk around your yard in the nude because if a helicopter flies by, they're going to see you anyway. It may be the government with a drone. It may be, some private citizen going for a helicopter ride.
Right.
Taking it right. They're getting a tour of Philadelphia.
Hey, look what's going on in Mike G's curtilage.
And we had Philly Chris walking around like Buffalo Bill.
I'll be out crushing
With the
grapes in
robe,
the
right?
vineyard.
That's funny. Now, Rich, before you go, I appreciate you coming, spending a few minutes with us on your holiday. But Liberty had a story she told me about when she was in college, because we were briefly discussing this recent Supreme Court of Pennsylvania case. And she told me a story about how she was pulled over by a law enforcement officer, and there was sort of a relevant issue here. Liberty, are you there?
Yes.
You don't just have private conversations on the air. You can actually join us for contributions.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? What I'm referencing? Because we didn't talk about
Yeah.
this specifically before we came on the air. Why don't you tell that story?
Oh, well, there's two, but one of them I'm thinking of is that
There's two. How often are you getting pulled over?
I got pulled over
Every Friday.
a lot.
Good thing you know a good lawyer or two.
And was accused of things. It was very strange, and it made me really kind of scared of cops. I'm not even gonna lie.
Isn't this one with residue?
Yes. So basically, I was driving, and the police pulled behind me, and they said, for no reason really, and they just said, "Hey, what's that on your dashboard?" And I was, or on your, console. I said, they said, "Is that residue?" I said, "What do you mean residue?" And they were like, "What is that?" And so I literally took my finger and took it up, and I said, "It's a Dunkin' Donuts muffin." I said, "Sorry, you caught me. I'm off my diet." I said, "It's just a muffin." And they literally didn't believe me until they actually smelled it. It was very strange.
And
That's good.
Liberty,
Just
if you know, grew up in small town in America, very straight edge, and threw it. I don't want to.
Square is a block.
Yeah, that would totally not be her thing. She's the total opposite of that. So that explains why she didn't even know what he's talking about when he's saying resident. Like, what does that even mean, right?
I didn't know, but he wouldn't stop. He was really accusatory.
You mean like people who do pot?
So
Wasn't there a mirror though and a razor blade next to it, Liberty?
But that
telling the whole
actually made
story?
me really scared because I said they technically could claim anything,
Right.
and it's really just them versus me. They could have said it was something. I mean, who knows? Oh, sorry, we didn't get evidence. It really made me afraid, I don't know. So I feel for people who are in those positions.
Wasn't there an issue where they said they smelled something too? Because I will tell you this. When I first met Liberty, she was always chewing this one particular kind of gum. I think it was like some kind of apple gum. And I swear that when I first met her, I thought she smoked marijuana. I kid you not,
Why?
because there's a specific the scent that this gum gives off. I kid you not. And I told other people about this, and they looked at me like I had 10 heads. And then
I'm looking at you like you have 10 heads right now.
Then I learned of a specific case where this kid was suspended in school because his breath smelled like marijuana. The principal caught him. It went from a teacher who smelled it and confirmed it. The principal smelled it, confirmed it. The parents came in, smelled it, and confirmed it. Said they all agreed we recognize this smell. That is what it is. And the kids, like in tears, I'd never touched the stuff. Absolutely not. And they start asking questions. What is it? What did you have today? What did you eat? Were you around anybody else? And it turns out he had this gum. Well, the principal ended up chewing the gum. And sure enough, everybody could smell on his breath that it smelled like marijuana. So this was legitimately confirmed from other sources and almost got this poor kid in a whole lot of trouble.
That's crazy.
I just want to know that's the
amazing.
extraordinary lengths that Mike goes to prove that he was right about
Yeah,
this.
that's right.
I found this obscure case of some kid cornered by the principal. I'm like, who does that? I thought you were going to say that when you met her, she had a green tongue, which is the biggest nonsense I've ever heard
What?
an officer. You have a green tongue. I'm like, a green tongue. He's like, yeah. He's like, from doing what? Did he eat it? Like, what are you talking about?
When they accuse you of things, you do get really scared because they do exactly what happened to that kid, and they question you, and you feel like there's nothing you can say to convince them. If they think that you have something and they want to put out a ticket, they can do that. I mean, there is a side to that. So
That's why you don't talk to the police.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I'm
So,
actually starting
Rich,
to think that for even normal, just being pulled over in everyday life. Just
there's
here's my
nothing
attorney.
wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you that there's something wrong with that, Liberty.
I don't answer questions.
Yeah.
I've said that before.
Sure,
I think
sure.
you got the story where Mike and I were in a case at Columbia County, one of our famous places where we've only ever said once you literally can't win, which maybe now every case we go. But we're going to eventually not win one of those cases, Mike. But I was on my way back from the preliminary hearing, and I literally got pulled over by the officer that we were grilling on the stand like 10 minutes before. And he's like, come on, man. You know why I pulled you over? I said, you know I'm not going to answer that question. And he said, just get out of here.
Oh man.
It worked.
But it worked.
It worked.
So with that, with your parting words, Rich, if somebody is pulled over, and these are concerns that, they can smell marijuana, although that may not do the trick. It's not that the smell of marijuana can't do anything. It just can't be the only thing, right?
Right. So the interesting thing, if you look at some of the concurring and dissenting opinions, was if they have so one of the things was when they found the marijuana, if they show that it's not in packaging that's typical from a dispensary, right? If you got it in a prescription pill bottle, I got a medical marijuana card. Yeah, but why is your marijuana in a prescription pill bottle? That's a little weird. So it may be able to do that. If you say, no, I don't have a medical marijuana card, and they smell marijuana, that could be a way they get probable cause. So the odor of marijuana, if they just saw 4 people come up to your car look in the passenger window, shake your hand, and walk away. They pull you over for, speeding or a broken tail light, and then they smell an odor of marijuana in the car. And those 4 interactions plus that certainly looks like you're selling marijuana. That could be a reason to be able to search your car. The issue with that case is the odor of marijuana in and of itself is no longer justified to for probable cause to search your car. But they'll certainly strike up a conversation with you to see if you're anything else that justifies ring. For example, the most common thing is people don't understand the Medical Marijuana Act. You can't smoke marijuana. You can't get a pipe, roll a joint, blunt, or anything like that and use it. The only way you can smoke it, quote unquote, is to vaporize it through a vaporizer. So
that's at all the dispensaries. Like that's a federal thing, you're saying?
That is a state law thing.
Oh, state.
You cannot smoke it as you would maybe think about it or saw at a party or did yourself.
Interesting.
At a party or something like that. That is not the way you use medical marijuana. It is in some states. It's not in Pennsylvania.
Okay, I see.
So if you say, so the interesting thing is most people say vaporizing it is smoking it. But if they say, you got medical marijuana, yeah, when's the last? He's like, when's the last time you smoked? Oh, I smoked it last night. Oh, you smoked it now.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Because you can't smoke it. And that's indicative of criminal activity. Now I search your car. Right?
Wow.
So that's
Good
the
point.
issue. And that's why we say, you have to be careful. The other thing is from users with medical marijuana is they still have not updated the DUI statute. So it is currently a bill that has passed the House, and I think it's committee in the Senate or the other way around. So currently, any amount of a Schedule 1 controlled substance in your system while you're driving a car is a DUI, whether or not it impairs your ability to safely operate. Marijuana has not been reclassified. It's still a Schedule 1 controlled substance. If you have a medical marijuana card, it's still a Schedule 1 controlled substance. So if you're pulled over and somebody asks you, even if they don't smell marijuana, do you have a medical marijuana card? And you do, you should never, under any circumstances, answer yes to that question, because that instantly gives them probable cause to arrest you for suspicion of DUI. You have to be careful with a medical marijuana card, not only on your firearms rights, but your ability to drive a car is limited in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, the law, which I hope everybody recognizes passes, means if you have a medical marijuana card, it's not per se, meaning it's in your system. They're going to have to prove that you were impaired, that you had smoked it so recently, like, a low amount of alcohol. So that'll be a good change in the law. But unfortunately, as we saw here, where the law finally caught up with the change in the statutory law, no longer an odor marijuana, we hope that the legislature passes that. Because I think that's a hindrance on people. Because I go, technically, you're going to run into issues with your firearms possession. You're also running into issues with your ability to drive a car.
But in your system, I mean, that's wild as far as THC goes, right?
Correct, because it's either active or inactive. And as we know, well, maybe you don't know. So
everybody knows how marijuana gets processed, THC gets processed.
So, it breaks it down into carboxy THC, which is almost in the last 2 hours, and the hydroxy THC. Hydroxy goes into is your long-term storage. The issue with marijuana, unlike most other drugs like cocaine or heroin, they're all water soluble. So typically drugs will be in and out of your system within 72 hours, right? When you ingest it, 72 hours later, they should be completely gone. The issue with marijuana or THC, which is the active ingredient, it's fat soluble. So that's why it stays in your system up to 30 days. So technically, you may have not used your medical marijuana in a week and a half. They find out you have a medical marijuana card. I can guarantee that's still in your system. They pop you for a DUI. That's technically a DUI.
Wow.
Which is why the law has not caught up yet.
As we know. As we know.
Can I ask a question to Rich?
Yeah,
What
but
about
he's going to kill us if we don't let him off
but
first.
really quick, when I've heard this age-old thing or something, if the police officer pulls you over and they say, can you recite the alphabets backwards? And you say, I couldn't do that if I was sober. And that gets you in trouble because they're admitting that they're drunk.
Well, yeah, that would be a problem. It's the way you say it. But those are just made up nonsense tests. Can you say the alphabet backwards? I go, can you say the alphabet backwards, buddy? I'm curious.
The alphabet backwards. Thank you very much. I'm here all
there
week.
you go.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I could do half the things they say anyway. But if you say anyway, but I would say, well, because you're telling me to do it. I'm saying anyway in everyday life. But they would say, "Oh, that means you're drunk."
Well, I couldn't
Yeah.
do that if I was sober. I go, well, that means you're drunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The idea is just lack of communication with the officer is always to your benefit in the long run. So, I mean, it's not to be rude. I never say to be rude or yell or scream or anything. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, the more you talk, the more likely you are to get yourself in trouble. I know I've said this to Mike, and I may have said this on the air, so there's no expectation of privacy in it. But I said I've never seen anybody in my career talk themselves out of trouble. Never seen it. I have seen, however,
I did it once,
hundreds
Mike,
of
in New York,
cases
didn't I?
Kind of.
talk themselves into trouble.
Yeah,
So
that was a little bit of trouble, though. That was a little bit of
that's
trouble.
a little trouble.
Well, it was the
Little.
Lincoln Tunnel going one way, the wrong way.
He went the wrong way, and we were going to be late to. He was driving me to Newsmax, and I was going to be late for a live show because he went the wrong way. So he bangs this Yui in the middle of all this traffic. And he comes to this area where there's all this traffic cones, and he gets out and he moves the cone. And he goes to go through, and the officer just lights him up. He's like, dude.
I
What are
actually
you
went
doing?
the wrong way back into the Lincoln Tunnel for like 30
Oh,
feet.
the wrong. That's right.
That's right. Remember?
That's
And
right.
then-
Yeah, yeah.
So I was
yeah.
like, Mike, if I move this one cone and go that way, and I'm going
If I
straight
move
at a
this
bus.
cone and I go
Yeah.
through this do not enter sign into oncoming traffic for a little bit.
I am curious as to what that conversation with the officer was like. Because was it NYPD or was it the Port Authority? It would have
was
been one of those. But
Port Authority.
Yeah.
And
okay.
yeah.
Elaborate, guys.
How would you
Did
describe
you end
the
up getting an
conversation?
escort to Newsmax?
Hey, I may or may not have a family member in the Port Authority, but that didn't seem to matter.
The cop was very nice about it. We'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah, he's not happy with Chris.
No.
Wait, you had to
Yeah.
do the same thing that Mike and I do when we mess something up in court. Like, listen, I'm from out of county, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, I
Yeah,
started
yeah,
with,
yeah.
I am completely wrong. I am 100% wrong, and I apologize. However, I have the great Mike G with me. We're on our way to Newsmax, and under normal circumstances, so. And then he just finally said, "Get the hell out of here! You're gonna be late anyway. That's enough of a penalty."
Yeah, he's
So,
like, you
yeah.
know what? Your punishment is that you're gonna be late. So good
Right.
job.
So I've had luck a couple times, but you're right. Don't.
That was little though. That wasn't like we were going
Yeah,
to jail.
right. Yeah,
At least
okay.
I hope not. Who?
Yeah.
Recklessly endangering another person. I don't know.
Right. I knew I could make it, but I don't recommend it. It
You
was
knew you could have made it through the Lincoln Tunnel without going head on to Mitchell?
Back
for you.
shit. Yeah.
Mike's seen me drive.
On the transporter, on the next episode of Transporter, Philly Chris is the transporter. Comes
Yeah,
the road.
exactly. Yeah, he's Jason Statham. He's like, oh, I recognize you.
Oh,
that
you're
dead
filming a
English guy.
movie. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like Forrest
cut,
Gump.
cut. This cop ruined it.
Right.
This cop messed up the scene again. You know how much this is going to cost us?
Wait till your boss hears about this.
Yeah, that's right. You got permits.
Yeah. What the hell are you
Call
doing?
your
here?
captain immediately. What's your
Right.
badge number?
He's
Right.
like, yeah, that's right. I mean, and he was like, "Is that why you
Yeah.
got all these guns in the car?" He's like, "Of course, these are for the show. Come on,
They're
man."
just props. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Prop.
You guys remember a few years back where those Pennsylvania dudes got caught going through the tunnel?
Oh, what
Yeah.
happened?
They had a lot of weapons.
That was
Oh,
Lehigh
yeah.
Valley, right? They
Yeah.
were from Lehigh Valley. You remember that, Rich?
Yeah, they were there to protect something or other in New York, and they just busted them, and they went, well, and I was like, "Did
It's
you
like
come?"
somebody's daughter was in a drug house and they thought she was being held against her will or something like that.
Oh, my
and
goodness,
went to
wow.
go take care of it or something like that. And at least that's what was reported. I don't know the actual story, but that's what
I
was
don't know the
reported.
actual story, but
What ended up getting them was they were driving like this big green vehicle, right? This big
Right.
green truck that was skinned out with like all of their advertising material for their range, I think it was.
Oh.
And
well,
they had a
that's-
huge crack in
right.
the windshield.
yep.
So they get pulled over for the crack in the windshield. It's like, oh man, that's like,
Right.
can't do that, right?
Right. Right.
You can't give them probable cause, right? Come on,
That's
man.
it. That's a reason to stop you. Those are my favorite clients who get pulled over with 3 kilos in the trunk, and they get pulled over for a busted tail light. I go,
Right.
hey, I
Right.
got a question. What? You didn't check that before you
You
left?
check
You
that,
don't think
right?
that was
Yeah.
important? Like maybe You know,
Yeah.
turn the car on, turn the lights on, do a walk around, have somebody
Maybe.
step on the brakes, make sure the turn signals work,
Hmm.
or they get pulled over for speeding. You don't got cruise control, like 65. Boop,
Right.
that's it. What are you
Mhm.
speeding for?
I had that one cop tell me in Jersey I had long hair and Oklahoma plates. I was actually going to court with the old firm that I worked for, but pulled me over because one of my brake lights was, and I quote, dim. It wasn't out, but it was
Oh,
dim.
dim.
I'd never heard that
The
before.
dim
Wow.
brake.
I'm
brake
not a
light trick.
mechanic or anything like
Dim.
that.
That's called made up. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's like the new COVID test. Like a lot of people are saying there's like dim results. Just side note.
Dim
Dim
result.
results. It's not
They're like,
positive because it's dim.
There's like a line, but it's like a faint line. Just
Right.
FYI.
Yeah.
You
Is
fell
that
for the
like,
banana in the tailpipe.
I've seen dim taillights before, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of them's dim. One
Yeah.
brake light is dim.
Yeah.
Is that enough, Rich? Is one dim tail light enough?
Well, it's on
Under
vehicles.
Pennsylvania law, no, it's as long as it's functioning.
I was gonna say if it's functioning.
Dim, if it's functioning, that's enough. They can say it's dim, but that's not a reason to pull somebody over. Like the statutory
How
language.
dim would cut it if it were enough, right? Let's just assume for the sake
they
of argument
measuring
that
how
we're
many
going to say dim
lumens
is
is
enough. How
emitting?
dim can it? How does it have to be? Is just a smidge more dim is enough? Can pull you
Right,
over?
and that's why there's no such thing as a dim taillight. That's why that's made up. Because
Was
it's
the
either on
officer's
or off.
what's the
What
officer's
about
name?
if
Dim.
Well, is that kind of similar to if you're wearing your seatbelt wrong? So I often I
How
don't
does-
like the
what?
seatbelt strap to be over. Like I put it on the back of the back of the seat. Can you
Hmm.
get pulled over for that?
That's actually a good question. I don't know that answer.
But
You can
isn't
get
it in
hurt though.
Pennsylvania, and no traffic law expert, Rich, but isn't it in Pennsylvania that in and of itself is that enough if they pull you over for
Right, that
something
can't
else?
be a primary. Yeah, that can't be a primary reason to stop you.
A seatbelt violation?
Seatbelt violation. So if you drive
Oh.
by a cop not wearing your seatbelt, they can't pull you over for that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Not a primary violation.
If you get
It
pulled
was
over for something
similar
else, it makes
to-
it extra illegal. But
Right. They can. So if they pull you over for speeding and you're not wearing your seatbelt, they can bust you for both, but they can't pull
Gotcha.
you over for wearing your
Hmm.
seatbelt. The other issue is, I don't know if they changed it recently. It used to be with cell phone use in a car. In
Hmm.
Pennsylvania, at least, it couldn't be a primary reason. They may have updated that. I hope they updated
Okay.
that because people should not be texting and driving.
in some states, you can't even use the handheld while you're driving.
Right.
Yeah, New York and New Jersey will go nuts with anything related to your phone. You'll get
Oh,
stopped
yeah.
in about
They
5
do
seconds.
that too.
You
Yeah.
have to be careful with that.
Yeah, they're very, very stringent on what you can and cannot do. New Jersey, like, oh, we don't try. They can't possibly pump their own gas, right?
Right. Right.
Listen, these are not trained professionals. They can't pump their own gas.
I wish we could call this like traffic hour because I just have a lot of questions for Rich. But I was
yeah.
curious
Let's-
if you're
let's-
at a
let's put pin in
stoplight.
that. Let's do that. Let's do that another evening. Rich
What
is
not to
already
do at a
been here longer
stoplight?
than he wanted to be.
We'll play the what?
Question
Can we
about
play the what if
stoplight.
game with
On traffic law,
What is
Right.
You know, let's do that, Rich. Come back we'll do a deep dive into DUI and traffic. Okay.
Mhm.
Into that
Yeah,
stuff.
because Jeremy has a question too. So we have lots of questions for you, Rich.
All right, 30
Oh.
seconds.
Look at that.
Yes or no? What about when they do seatbelt checkpoints?
Is that legal?
They don't cite you for a ticket. They're not illegal.
Okay.
It's a safety issue. You can thank my famous friend Justice Scalia, who called DUI checkpoints legal. Seatbelt checkpoints are the same thing. They won't give you tickets though. They can only tell you to put your seatbelt on.
What if it's the third Tuesday of the month and you go through a school day on a non-school day, a school zone?
But no, seatbelt checkpoints, they can't actually give you a ticket.
Okay.
They
That-
only
that's
tell
it.
you to put your seatbelt on.
That's it, and I mean it. We'll actually let you go this time, Rich. Thanks
Right.
so much for being so generous with your time. I know
No
that you're
problem,
enjoying your
guys.
vacation.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Everybody
New Year.
be safe. Stay healthy.
We'll see you next year.
Oh my God, I hate that. Good night, guys. Take care.
Peace
See
and
you
love.
next
Peace and
year.
love. See you next year.
See you next year.
Oh, that
Those
was
of us
good.
just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the morning with The Law Matters, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So, what? It's been a pretty intense hour and 25
Wow,
minutes.
Yeah,
Huh?
that was good. That was good.
that was intense.
It was fun.
Wow,
Yeah.
I feel exhausted.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I'm sweating.
Yeah. I'm pretty warm myself. A little verklempt.
You're sweating?
Yeah.
Oh,
You were on fire earlier. That was a good segment, the stuff you provided at the beginning of the show, Mike. Good
Oh,
stuff.
Yeah,
Important stuff.
truly irritates me.
It is. It's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if you could tell.
nonsense
I
going
don't
on.
know
No,
if
I could tell. I could feel it.
Yes.
You have the government giving us this backwards logic.
Hmm.
They believe they may believe their intentions to be pure. They may. Oh, you know, I think
May.
that they may.
The slight possibility.
But even if they are, they're lying to achieve that goal, right?
Right.
They're either liars or they're incredibly stupid. And
Mhm.
there's no option C.
Right. Well, I think we talked
Although
about.
those options are not mutually exclusive.
True. That's true, Russ.
Well, what I mean by incredibly stupid is they're ignorant, and that's why they're coming up with this. They truly don't know the answer, or they know the answer, and either they've got a nefarious reason for doing so, or they've got an intention they believe to be pure for doing so, but they're still lying. But either way, they're lying, right?
Nefarious.
You got quite a cough there, Chris. Do you
Excuse me.
have the
Draw
COVID?
your own.
I got
Our
that
audience
little.
can draw their own conclusions.
Correct. Yes. Please
Yeah.
do.
I'm not here to give you conclusions. I can give you evidence, and you can formulate an opinion, draw your own conclusion. I'm encouraging everybody to use their brain because I
You're
happen
asking
to give
too
you
much.
enough credit to think that you have the intelligence that God gave geese. So
Listen, Mike, geese are really smart. Okay.
Hey, they walk right in front of your car.
You wouldn't believe their score on the SATs. All right.
Yeah, they have SATs for the geese.
The
I was
GATs.
hoping maybe at the end we can all respond to that segment because I do have something to say about it later.
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say I actually lived that in a way because I was in a situation where I really, really needed monoclonal antibodies. And I actually called around
Mhm.
all Pennsylvania because my mom was trying to help me. She said, we need to get you those antibodies because I couldn't get COVID for certain reasons. And so I was desperately asked my doctor. I called around, I called clinics and nobody called back. And I got this like 1-800 number that was asking me questions. And then I contacted my cousins that worked at the ER, multiple, and they said, we're not giving out that. They said, we're not giving out any treatments unless you're ready for a vent. I said, hold on. I said, this can be prevented for me. I said, I don't know what's going to happen to me. And I said, I need this treatment. I have issues with coughing. I said, so I need this treatment. And I couldn't find it. I was literally desperate. And unfortunately, due to that, I wound up with another injury and required some serious treatment because of like a series of events that happened because of that. So I believe it could have been prevented, and I wanted to get my hands on those, and it was impossible. Yet everybody's pushing the vax.
Right.
And my conclusion is, okay, so they didn't know all the information about the vaccine, but they still pushed that to us, right? Okay, so they didn't know all the information about monoclonal antibodies, but yet they wouldn't allow anybody to have it at the time, or they were very specific about it.
Well, they've done that with some of the other treatments as well.
Right. So the question is really, what is their motivation? It wasn't fair. And if it was up to me, I would bring this up to the Supreme Court case. That's a serious thing. So anyway,
I think the motivations are very clear here because they've suppressed other forms of treatment as well, and it just seems to me the guy who, you know, you don't have to be a 5-star chef to say a meal tastes lousy. I'm not exactly an expert. I'm actually a scientist. No, I'm kidding. But it seems to me that they just don't want to give up their power. They want to keep people in fear, and they want to prolong this as long as possible. And they don't give a rat's rear end if people die in the process. They don't care.
Seems that way.
Because ultimately, I think it might have something to do with some culling the herd type of scenarios, but I think ultimately the people who don't listen to them and take the vaccines are the ones that they want to do away with. So the vaccine might be safe and effective, but they might be trying to do away with us altogether because they know that we're all too stubborn to actually take their smelly, gross medicine.
Time will tell. Time will tell, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight will be 2020 at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So Chris, how about that? How about that COVID test?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, the
that's
old
what I want to
COVID
get
test.
to. That's what
Yeah.
I want to get to.
How about it? How about it? Should I just throw it out there, or do you want me to talk about it a little bit?
But wait, hold on. Let's put
Okay.
put up a poll. Let's put up a poll.
Oh yeah, do a
So
poll.
why,
do a poll.
tell everybody the symptoms that you had first.
Yeah. So
We'll
several.
start off with. Can we? Do you feel comfortable with sharing? A, whether you've had COVID previously, and B, whether you've been vaccinated. Do you feel comfortable sharing either?
Of course.
If not, then
Abs-
that's
I-
okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Of course I am.
Okay,
Yep.
so tell everybody those two things
Mhm.
first.
I mean, to my knowledge, I haven't had COVID that I'm aware of. However, I do think there's a possibility. I did have it early on, very early on in the pandemic. Almost 2 years ago when all this stuff started, because I
So
did
prior
get
to this test, you had not tested positive for COVID, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
So I have
that's
no
number one.
right.
Although you had been sick very early on when tests
Mhm.
were unavailable, right?
That's correct. So and I don't know. Maybe I had it. Maybe I didn't. I have no idea.
Okay.
No way to go back in time except when I
and
get my time.
and I
sheet.
know a bunch of people who had it at the beginning and
Mhm.
have it again now, or had it again in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
So
That's
we are
right.
seeing people who allegedly have
hmm
been positive twice.
That's right. Yeah. And it's been a while now.
And the one guy I know, he was tested for antibodies, and they said that he still had it March of 2020, so almost 2 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And they said that his antibodies more than twice the level of a normal vaccinated person. So
That's
with
interesting.
Those
Yeah.
antibodies, he's still tested positive again fairly recently. Now, fortunately,
He had a
he
lighter
was
case.
not, minor symptoms, not put in the hospital or anything like that. The
Right.
first time had it really bad.
I'm going
but-
to look into that, and I'll share it on the show if I'm able to get the test for the antibodies. I'd like to know if there's a way to accurately test
Well,
that.
hold on.
Yep. All right. We'll back it up.
Yeah. So, had not previously tested positive,
Correct.
and vaccinated, yes or no? Can if you feel comfortable?
Oh yeah, I think most people know that I'm not.
Okay.
Our loyal fans, yes. Not.
I don't know. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a football player who's getting in trouble now because he showed a fake vaccination card or something.
Oh, really?
Did you hear about that? Yeah,
No,
one
I
of-
didn't hear about that.
One of the top, Antonio Brown.
Billy Chris, do not get a mugshot because of that. Do not do that.
gonna be all-
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. Do that. How do they tell? I guess it's they know, they can look it up, or the paper. Or
I'm
something.
putting a poll out there. Oh,
Yay!
what do you mean? How could they tell?
With
for
that
the
it was
NFL?
fake. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure, but they apparently it wasn't very good. I guess, right?
I saw it. It looked like you remember in the movie The Benchwarmers when they bring in the Puerto Rican guy and
He's got
and
the
they
birth
ask for
certificate.
his-
It's like I am 12. The
yeah, it
Dominican
says
Republic
I am
certificate.
12 and it contains a $20
Crayon
bill.
with the money.
Right.
That was, and then he's like this 30-year-old guy with a goatee, and he's dropping bombs in this little league.
And then he's drunk.
That was fun. Oh yeah, he comes out there and the guy goes, "You smell like beer." He's like, "You look like beer." All right, so people are voting. Was Philly Chris positive for COVID? We got 50-50 yes and no so far. So Chris, what were your symptoms?
It really started with a runny nose. My nose was running quite a bit, congestion, a little
Check.
bit of a headache, no fever that I was aware of.
Check. Oh no, not check.
Just a minor cough, not really that bad. And honestly, not feeling super sick, but not feeling that great either.
Any
and I'm
body
still a
aches
little,
or anything like that?
sounds like it.
maybe minor, a little bit tired, a little bit off, general sick feeling.
Do you have any fingernail sensitivity, bladder discomfort? It's like all these symptoms
I
that they come up with.
Do you
right?
have
lost
irritable
every
bowel
symptom
syndrome?
imaginable. Yeah,
I lost all my color vision for a couple hours.
Any loss of smell or taste?
No, everything's fine there, fortunately. Yeah.
And,
Did you have indigestion?
do you
No,
have
that was
both hot sweats and cold sweats.
that's right, at the same time, simultaneously.
At the same
Hot on the left
time.
side of my body and cold on the right side.
Hmm.
People need you to vote.
Was
Scott
part of
wants
you
to
in
know
a
if there's a
freezer?
third option for irrelevant. No. It is not irrelevant for the purposes of the program, Scott. You have to
Right.
vote.
That's right.
Scott
Did he
says
test
he has
positive?
the flu.
He had
What's
the
that?
flu.
Scott says he has the flu.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
okay,
You're wrong. The
okay.
flu
I see.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. You're not allowed to say it.
Mm.
It's the
Well-
other F word.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Let's see, keep these votes coming. We're at 50-50 right now for yes and no.
Oh,
Cast
really?
your
Yeah.
vote. Was Philly Chris positive for COVID? Were you, to your knowledge, around anybody who tested positive for COVID leading up to this?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
Did you, at any point, spend any time in a large crowd or anything like that leading up to this?
I wouldn't say large crowd, but I was out and about, you know.
Well, didn't you
Sure.
fly in?
I did.
Define
Airport,
large.
right?
Flew into Florida, so I suppose you could argue I was around large
But
groups.
everybody's wearing a mask, so that's impossible to catch it, right?
Right. That's correct. Yes. Correct. Right.
I saw this comment on a video the other day,
Uh huh.
and I don't think this is going to be an issue to talk about this, but there's a comment on a video. It was a song that we were listening to, and the comment was something along the lines of, "This was my uncle's favorite song. He loved to drink beer. One morning, he went out to get beer and didn't wear a mask, and he caught COVID and died."
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
sort of implying that had he worn a mask, he would have been protected from COVID. But I don't think the government ever made that claim.
No, and they really can't.
Even if so, and I'm being very careful with what I say right now because I don't want to get us kicked off
Sure.
of any platforms, right?
Sure.
I'd
Sure.
like this episode to stay up there because I think it's an important episode. for
Good
people to see.
episode. Good episode. Yeah.
But I don't believe they've ever made the claim that the mask is to protect you. They've always said it's to protect other people
Right.
because it restricts the flow of the droplets, right?
That's right. The
The what?
droplets. Yes.
Right?
The what?
Whether you're sneezing or coughing or
Right.
anything, it reduces
Mhm.
its
The
ability to travel as far.
droplets.
Correct.
So, but I don't believe they've ever made the claim that if you wear a mask, you're less susceptible,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't
Yep.
believe that's ever
No, I
been
believe you're right. Yeah.
a claim of theirs.
Correct.
Right.
So I was kind of scratching my head with that comment. But I guess there are people out there who
Oh, jeez.
trust the science but don't read the science, right?
Sure. Yeah. It depends on the science you're following.
Well, this comment, Mike.
But that's nowhere. Nobody. But that's my point. Is that
Right.
even if you're questioning what they're putting out there, you're like there's no home for that guy. That guy.
Right.
There's no camp for him
Right.
whatsoever.
Plus, there's no way to know that it was
It's
that
like he
one
left out
event.
his tinfoil hat. And he caught AIDS because he wasn't wearing a tinfoil hat.
That might
Well,
make more sense than the other
I-
thing.
I find the claim hard to believe because it sounds like the I guess it was the uncle. The uncle went out and to get more beer and caught COVID and fell over and died.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh
Right.
yeah, he
Maybe
died of
it could have
COVID.
been
He
a
didn't
made-up
die
story,
of being an
right?
alcoholic or anything.
Right.
You know,
he wasn't
it's-
overweight.
Went out and
wasn't-
got beer first thing in the morning. Got COVID. Liver was huge. His liver was the size of a football.
Right.
The damn virus.
He had a
That's
liver the
great.
size of a football, but no, he died of
Uh,
COVID.
uh,
It was
Right,
COVID. He just
definitely.
fell
we're
over and
clearly
died.
We're clearly joking.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so we've got somebody in the comments says in the spring of 2021, the CDC finally admitted it is an aerosol virus which is spread by normal breath, not just droplets.
Mm-hmm.
Not just what?
So if that were the case, then that shows for your regular normal breath. And I'm asking this person in the comments because I am by no stretch of the imagination a scientist of any kind. The normal breath certainly would not be stopped by
No.
a mask, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah. They're not.
I would presume.
Yeah. It's not a
Otherwise-
seal. You know.
No,
Not a complete
not
seal
sealed.
of. Plus, we
Even
know
90
the particulate, the virus particulate, is quite a bit smaller.
Well, yeah. It's like
So.
using a chain link fence to stop mosquitoes from coming in.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
But that is not what they claim to be intended for.
Right. But I
just
think
wanna
to
make
your
that, I want
point,
to make that clear. Like if you said, if we were on here saying, because we've gotten it, it's just so irritating that we have to square dance around these topics just to not be
Yeah.
deplatformed, right?
quite
But all
kind
we're
of
saying is that
Orwellian, maybe. Yeah.
we're not talking about, we're talking about somebody who's making a claim that has nothing to do with the purported intended use, right?
Right.
So if I were to say, well, he didn't wear his mask like a hat and therefore he got sick. On the
Right.
he didn't wear it on the top of his head and therefore he got sick.
Right.
That's not saying that masks don't work for any purpose whatsoever. That is not
Mhm.
the claim that is being made in that statement.
Yeah.
The claim is that if you wear it on your head like a hat, that does nothing, right?
Correct. Right. Right.
Besides make you look, depending on your fashion sensibilities.
Makes you, wait, it makes you feel safe, okay?
Yeah, it makes you feel safe.
Makes you feel safe. It's
Believe
a
me,
It makes masks
I'm
less
an
effective,
expert.
but also means it drifts in the air. An MIT study said, based on this, there is no safe distance indoors, for example, 6 feet.
Hey, it looks like Dr. Fauci's listening to the show.
The great
now. That's
Dr. Anthony Fauci chiming in.
Oh
If
my
Chris
goodness.
Oh my
wore 3
Well,
masks,
you
there
know
was no
what,
way he
Fauci?
contracted
You
the
know what,
virus.
Fauci? I'm
unless
more
he
of a
did
scientist
contract
than
it.
you are. My science level is 99, the highest that you can achieve. We don't believe in
I-
3-digit numbers.
Wait, what were you saying, Mike? I think Mike was talking.
The great Dr. Anthony. Oh my
The
goodness.
great Dr. Anthony
Uh,
Fauci chiming in the comments. If Chris
I just
wore
want to
3
say-
masks, there is no way he contracted the virus unless he did contract it, but then it would be his fault.
Right. It's
Thank you
my
for joining us, the great Dr. Anthony Fauci.
fault. It's so great he's here.
Appreciate
Just a
you
quick
being here.
note for anybody on YouTube or just joining. You have to basically sign up or have a YouTube account in order to comment. We did have some people asking how they can vote in the Philly Chris poll.
Oh.
Actually, a friend of mine named T out in a cabin in the middle of nowhere because they're super smart. and
Shout out to T.
head- Yeah, shout out to T.
T, hey now.
Hey
From
now.
the middle
T.
of nowhere.
Hey
They're
now.
at the
Hey
North
now,
Pole
T.
of.
Is T the person's full name? Is that the full legal name? Just
That's just
T.
the name for.
I knew it. Oh, okay.
And
It's
T
such a
and-
shame that people gotta hide behind.
Right.
Well,
You
they
know,
might. I mean, they might give their name,
people
but
gotta
it's
be-
T, a T
People
and
have
an
no
M.
choice.
Shout
People
out
have
to
T
no
for
choice.
tuning in. Welcome.
T and
T.
M.
We have T and M.
And they said that they
It's
love.
it's such a shame that people have to be so concerned about their careers
Yeah.
and their profession and their living by simply voicing an opinion or participating in this program. I know that you saw the warnings that we got, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
notifications that popped up on my
Right.
Newsmax videos. It said
That's right.
this has been flagged as inappropriate and offensive.
It's ridiculous.
Fighting for people's rights is inappropriate and offensive.
Well.
How dare you, Mike G? So we should probably start issuing some kind of warning before the program. Let everybody know, hey, you're about to hear some pretty outrageous,
Mm.
inappropriate, and offensive stuff, people.
We should do a promo for that.
So you
right
might
at the
want to
beginning,
hide
yeah.
your kids and your wives. And
You have any inalienable rights you're
Uh,
worried about
yeah.
losing?
that's right. You might be talking about standing up for the Constitution here, so
Yeah.
it's
There's
gonna
that.
be careful.
Wow.
They
I
said that.
legitimately knew a dude named C though.
See.
C.
They
Real
said
cool
that the
dude. We didn't
segment
call him
was
C,
awesome.
but his
Okay.
first name was literally C.
Really?
We called him a different name. I don't want to say it because he would also be ousted as my friend.
I got you. I
Like,
got
You're
you.
friends with that guy. You're fired.
Everybody's like anonymous.
This
We're not
isn't
going to know who anybody is.
CB. We're
anymore.
not talking about CB. Where's CB been? Where's
CB.
CB?
Everybody's got
No,
nicknames. on
CB
their-
is SEE. This dude's
Yeah. right.
literally his first name on his birth certificate was the letter C.
Just the letter C.
Just the letter C. Kind of like in
Interesting.
Bronx Tale where they called the kid C, but it was short for Colosio.
Right.
This guy is literally C.
Wonder
His
why
parents were like, we like the name Colosio too long. We're going to call him C.
they Just call you
Let's
C.
name him C.
Mm.
We're just going to cut the middleman here. If we name the kid Colosio, they're going to call him C. We're just going to name him C. And then people will call him Colosio for short.
right.
Just
Uh.
giving a shout out to the anonymous source and to Mike's delivery. The
Yeah.
person I'm talking to said that it was they thought it was awesome, an awesome segment.
It
So
was.
What's that?
the segment on the first segment regarding COVID and
T likes it, or is this M, or is this C?
T and M both loved the segment, and they weren't on YouTube, so they did give it.
LMNOP, we're not huge fans, so that's okay.
Oh my goodness!
That's Y
Everybody.
and Z. Now I know my ABC.
We got Eric says, stick with the mustard.
I
Who's getting mustard? Who's got mustard, Eric?
think we have to give it to Russ this week, maybe. I'm not sure.
Got more votes. We've got more votes here.
All right. Get the
It
votes in,
says,
ladies and gentlemen.
Was Philly Chris positive for COVID? 60% say no, 40% say yes.
Ooh.
60% say no, 40% say yes. You're looking pretty good. I will give you that.
Yeah, yeah.
If you did test positive, you
They
look
trust-
like $1 million, right?
Well, thanks, man.
You look like you look like the Donald did, right? He was just like,
Yeah. He's like, whatever.
He did get some treatment though, guys.
Didn't he get the monoclonal
Yes, he
antibodies
did.
and all that stuff? Right. Yeah, yeah.
And
And Joe
he got
Rogan, yeah.
Remdesivir,
Trying to tell
I
us
think,
something,
too,
Chris?
which my
Yeah.
grandma got and saved her too.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: I'm not a doctor, but
Mhm.
no doctor, just telling a story here.
just
Help
a
out
personal
people.
experience.
I'm a doctor. I'm doctor level 99.
There you go.
It's the
Almost like we did
highest
that.
you can get.
Yeah. Should I make a reveal? Are we ready?
Go ahead.
All right. Well,
What's
And
your
it
doctor
is.
level?
Wow.
It is.
officially, do 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 do. No, I do not have it. It tested negative.
Tested negative, ladies and gentlemen. the negative parade.
Right, right,
We're not going to ship him off to a
You
camp.
gotta, like,
right,
you gotta
yeah.
be like waving to people with parade
You
about
can stay, Chris.
like pointing to people in the crowd. Like,
Right.
thumbs up. Glad you showed up. Glad you can make it.
I'll get in the car later and stand up through the sunroof and drive around.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
not a
Thank you very
sunroof,
much.
Chris. That's just a
Yeah.
hole you cut in it.
Now
Right.
this does prove something though, Philly Chris,
What's it proof, brother?
because you've been very adamant from the very beginning that you thought that there were issues where everything comes out positive. Clearly, not everything comes out positive.
Not everything, but
Because
you
were
know.
symptomatic, right?
Yeah, sure.
You will
Mhm.
admit that you were symptomatic
Correct.
and you did test negative.
Correct.
And I can tell you for a fact that
Yeah.
I have had 2 occasions where
hmm
symptomatic,
Right.
tested negative.
That's correct. Yep. hmm
Good old fashioned cold, right?
That's right. That's
Common
right.
cold still exists too.
It's still out there.
Now, when I was
Thank you, Rita.
positive, I had both the rapid test and the PCR.
Okay.
Both were positive.
Both
Definitely
were
had.
positive. Okay.
There's no question that I had the thing.
Yeah. Right. 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 And you guys had some of the other symptoms that come along with it as well.
For
and
sure.
you were pretty sick. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy, obviously, that I don't have it. And who knows? Maybe I had it early on. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I have antibodies. Maybe I don't. Don't know yet. Try to find out. And,
Who lost money? And people were taking side bets, I think.
Oh, there's some side bets going on.
We
alright.
got T in the house.
Oh, T, ladies and
T
gentlemen.
shows up in the comments.
Yay!
Tea.
Hi, T.
T
In the
and O,
house,
yeah.
it says in the house or cabin.
Oh, science level
Science
90
level
going on.
90.
Yeah. Well, Russ was 99.
Level 19.
I just put that together. That's great.
How high does the level go?
It only
100?
goes to 99. Triple
Oh,
digits
okay.
are a myth.
Okay, got it.
It's been scientifically proven unequivocally. There's nothing beyond double digits. 99 is the highest you can go. I am expert level 99.
Nice. Nice.
So I have a question: why Philly Chris got more attention for his COVID test? Because I had one too this weekend.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Ladies and
And-
gentlemen, Liberty.
Oh, sure. Hold on. Let's get a poll going. Let's get a
Get a
poll
poll
going.
going. Get a poll
Hold on.
going.
Poll
Get the
going.
poll
I'm gonna
going.
close this poll.
And
You got
we
to give
have
me 2
this-
seconds. You got to stall. You got to stall. Give me 2 seconds to
1,000.
put this poll up, and then I'm going to ask you the appropriate questions with
Okay.
it. We've got T in the house, and nobody gave T a hey
Cross-examine.
now for checking in.
Hey now,
You
T.
get
Well, Tia, hey now.
cross-examined by Mike.
Hey
China's,
now.
China's
Hey
gonna
now.
hire Mike to cross-examine for the COVID testing.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to welcome T. Arnold to the program. Hey now.
Oh my
Tom
god.
Arnold?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We're gonna get to a third here because I'm pretty sure that Russ got a test this
Did
weekend.
he?
too.
Wait a minute. Are you guys
I'm
holding
pretty-
out on me over here?
I did
Hold
not.
on, I'll save that. I'll save
What's
that.
going on?
Let's stick with Liberty now.
Mike.
We can't do 10 things at once.
Right.
Mike, I did not get a test this week.
Oh, you did
Oh, come
not.
on, just go
No.
along with it, Russ.
I
Oh,
think
You're terrible. As it's for some producer here, right?
Wink, wink.
Yep.
Remember that test
Our
I
ratings
gave
are
you?
going to be in the toilet now because of that.
Remember Santa stopped at the North Pole and tested you?
He tested
no.
you.
come on, man,
Christmas?
Russ.
No, because I'm
He had all
science.
these weird
I'm science
requirements.
level
Science
99. I'm
everything.
beyond
He, was like,
test.
he told me that in order to do the test, I had to dress up in a lobster suit. It was very strange.
Bring on the dancing
He's
lobsters.
like, this is how we do the test these days. You never had one? Okay. And
The
now
Krusty
we've got a
Krab
poll
secret
up there.
handshake.
Oh my goodness.
Is
Ladies
Liberty.
and gentlemen, Eric Krebs
on, hold
also
on.
waiting for results.
Oh,
Also waiting for results.
side bets on Eric Krebs. Side bets.
This is wild.
Side bets. We're gonna do now. All seriousness. We know that Philly Chris is okay. We know Liberty is obviously okay. So this is why we're asking these questions, Eric. We hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
And,
We're-
you know,
we're
we
not
certainly don't
making-
want to joke about you waiting for your results if, God forbid, you're experiencing some pretty serious symptoms and not feeling
Listen.
well.
Right.
We've taken on this show, I know I especially have taken COVID very seriously. I've actually had a family member pass from it. It was my grandfather, but he was elderly. My grandma almost passed from it, but the remdesivir turned it around. So I take it very seriously. But I still feel like we all need some lightheartedness. And I think,
Mhm.
honestly, we do. After
Okay, so
2020.
I got to walk you through the questions though,
Okay.
Liberty. So we've got 50% yes, 50% no. So this is a close one.
Close one,
It's
close
razor thin, Liberty. Every vote counts. Make your vote count, ladies and gentlemen.
I do
Well,
take
ladies
my
and
time.
gentlemen,
you
time
don't
to
want
get your
one
vote
side
in,
to
get
lose
your-
by one vote, right?
But
You don't want to be
Mike, are
that
you going
guy.
to ask questions? Because I thought you can give them information, then they can base that. Like they already know I had COVID.
Okay, yeah. Well, this might be maybe some people are waiting for all the information, and that's okay. That's fair. So, Liberty, prior to this test, had you previously tested positive for COVID?
Yes.
Okay, so you'd previously tested positive. We already know that that doesn't mean anything necessarily, but that's just some information that'll help you. I hope we got another no vote after you said you'd previously tested positive. Somebody on the
This test is making me nervous.
natural
This
immunity
question-
bandwagon over here.
Hmm.
Do you feel comfortable sharing your vaccination status? Tell us first whether you feel comfortable sharing, yes or no.
Yes, I do.
You do feel comfortable sharing, and what
She
is it?
feels comfortable.
I don't feel comfortable with the questioning, but I feel comfortable. I do not have the vax.
Okay. So with that information, what were the symptoms that you were experiencing?
I had burning in my sinuses, extreme. Almost felt like I couldn't smell very well because I did have COVID before, and the burning is the same burning I felt in my chest when I had it the first time. So I said, "Uh-oh." Then fatigue, extreme, and then body aches. No fever.
No fever.
No fever.
So body aches, fatigue,
She
burning in the
does not have a
sinuses.
fever.
50% of my body was cold.
Had
and
you
50%
been
was
around
hot.
fingernail sensitivity and bladder discomfort, right?
And I actually had to
Green
miss
tongue,
Christmas.
like Rich said, right? Green tongue.
I erred on the side of caution, and I did miss my plans for Christmas. So,
Okay.
so I don't know if there's more.
Hold on, no, not
Oh.
yet, not yet.
Liberty talks too much.
Hold
Right.
on.
To your knowledge, were you exposed to anybody who tested positive for COVID?
No,
So not around anybody who tested positive. Take it a step further. Were you in any settings like Philly Chris was, an airplane, for example, airport, any large gathering?
I was at Bed Bath and Beyond twice.
Bed Bath and Beyond. Well, you were in a large crowd of people at Bed Bath and Beyond, even though
It was
according
the
to
beyond part.
according to that comment from our listener, that no distance indoors is safe. So you could be on the other side of Bed Bath and Beyond, which is like how many square feet do you think those places are?
About
huge,
2
right?
miles.
A warehouse
About 2
worth?
miles, yeah.
Yeah, 2 miles.
But that was actually more than a week before I got the test and before I got symptoms. So I don't think that was the culprit.
Okay,
So I
so
would say no.
within 5 days
No.
of taking the test, you were
Not
around
even
nobody.
a little bit. Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Mhm.
That is a good question, though, right? Philly Chris, remember when we used to hang out at Cigars International
Yeah.
in Hamburg?
Right. Yeah.
That
good
place was huge, right?
Oh, huge. Yeah.
So a huge place like that, like what
Right.
if you're downstairs in one corner
Right. Mhm.
and then you're upstairs in the opposite corner?
What are you smoking at the time?
Is that it depends on that, right? Which
He's
cigar?
smoking that apple
Yeah.
gum that smells like
That's
marijuana.
right. That's right. Depends.
I always say that the COVID got it, and I'm joking about this, so don't take me off the
Right.
damn air for this.
Yeah.
But I always said that when I got the virus, the COVID got in there, and it's like, oh my God, I can't breathe. It smells like cigars in here. Everybody out. Everybody out.
Right.
Oh no.
It's like that.
Doesn't
It's like that
sound good,
Mucinex
Philly Chris.
commercial.
Like a what?
If you were in
It's
Bed
like-
Bath and Beyond and you cough like that, everybody'd be heading for the hills.
I
Like,
know.
"Hey,
I know. I
dude."
feel. Yeah. Like right.
It's
I'm
like that. It's like that Mucinex commercial. Like the little green things
Yeah,
are
heck
freaking
yeah.
out when they go into Mike G's lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to travel, which is why I got it, because I wasn't going to expose other folks to it. If
Jeremy
I
said-
did have it. So I did.
Jeremy said, I heard Bed Bath and Beyond was a super spreader location. And Jeremy, that is why when your wife asked you if you could join her at Bed Bath and Beyond, you said, honey, I'd love to go join you at Bed Bath and Beyond, but that's a place that's just riddled with COVID. You know, you don't
Very
understand.
It's a very dangerous location.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
It's COVID
Now they're
level
gonna hate us.
99.
I do like Bed Bath and Beyond. We should.
I don't like them since they
Yeah.
stopped selling My Pillow. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh well,
Sometimes
that's
you-
a good.
Sometimes you gotta
Oh,
go.
that is a good point.
Good point.
It is
That's
a
a
good-
good point.
Yeah,
Well,
it
all
was.
right.
It wasn't right, guys.
They are a super
Although,
spreader
I
location,
think
aren't they?
people need
Yeah.
to sort of put up or shut up on this stuff. I hate when people sort of play the police on this and they say, oh, well, you bought from this place and they don't support our values
Yeah.
and therefore you're no good. It's like, all right, well, dude, if you don't want people on our side buying from this particular retailer, then how about you give us an alternative, right? You set up this kind of a store and I'll buy from you. How about that? You know?
Right.
Or tell me where I can get this kind of a product and I'll do it. But until then, shut the heck up, you know?
There was that one guy on the
Yeah,
left who was
make your
going
own
against
Amazon.
My Pillow. Remember that? He came out with the pillow thing, but he
Oh,
disappeared like in weeks.
miserable failure.
Yeah.
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 It was, I think it was the anti-gunner, right?
Yeah, I think so. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck
So-
with that.
Yeah,
What's
Miller,
the rest of these questions? I'm getting nervous here.
oh, T says 100% FBBB. I think that stands for Let's Go
Better
Brandon.
Business Bureau?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go, Brandon.
Let's go Bed Bath
I
and Beyond.
legitimately
let's
wanted
go.
one of those. I wanted one of those.
Let's
Dang.
go Bed Bath
I
and
wish
Brandon.
Russ should pull up that clip, but he's going to be like, it's not in the doc. I can't do it. You know which one I'm talking about, right, Chris? From,
Which one?
From Christmas?
That
with the-
clip.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
Not president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
that
Biden
clip.
Christmas clip?
That
You
clip
think you
can
from
find
the
it,
internet.
Russ?
Great,
I-
great, Mike. I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, that clip from the internet.
Yeah. But you-
I guarantee you, Philly Chris knows what I'm talking about. I guarantee you, Liberty knows what I'm talking about. Oh, let's
Yeah.
take a poll from our
Wait.
audience.
take a poll.
Hold on.
What are we
Oh,
talking
hold
on.
about?
Before I'm gonna end this poll,
Mike, I'm
not
gonna smack
take
you
a
with the
from our
poll.
audience.
Can you finish
Yeah.
my poll? Because I have information for people.
No, because this is more important to make Russ look like a knucklehead in front of everybody.
Do you really
When I-
think
when
I need
I
help
say-
doing that?
Hold on, audience
Yeah.
members.
I'm putting it in the doc right now.
No, when audience members, when I say "Let's go, Brandon," that clip of Biden from Christmas, do you know which video I'm talking about? Let us know if you know what video I'm talking about. I want everybody to type in the comments. Yes, if you know what I'm talking about. If you're familiar with the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
And it's in the
And
doc.
then we'll see whether it was reasonable for me to expect Russ to know which video I'm talking about, because just about everybody who's not a leftist, the leftists are the ones who are in the dark on this, right?
Right.
When they do hear about it, they're like, what does that mean?
What you talking about?
What does that mean?
That's
Do
not
the
nice.
Sammy the Socialist voice, what does that mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So Jeremy knows. Okay, Scott
Yeah.
doesn't know the video. Durso knows the video I'm talking
Mhm.
about. So that's two to one so far. Let us know. Do you know? Are you familiar with the video that I'm talking about when I say the "Let's Go Brandon" Christmas video with Joe Biden?
I'm
Read
not-
Is that
that
where he
says
had the
yes or
guy?
no.
Wait, hold on. Is that where it
Oh,
had the guy on the
Interpol.
phone?
DC
And
says yes. Okay, so we have 4 yeses, 5 yeses. Mike G and Philly Chris are yeses. Liberty, do you know the video I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got, so Liberty says yes. I'm going to go ahead and put in for Mike G in the morning, yes. How about you, Philly Chris? You want to
Yeah,
put in
have
a
it-
yes?
yeah, it's in the doc already. I think Russ
Okay,
is
it's in
gonna
the,
pull
the
it up.
video's in the doc already.
T
So
says
basically,
yes. T says yes.
Everybody, literally everybody knows, except for Scott and Russ.
I think
Scott,
what-
sorry I'm throwing you under the bus over here, but Russ, it's not unreasonable. Totally
Well,
not unreasonable.
Russ.
They
I think
expect
it's
you to know
perfectly
what's up.
unreasonable. Shut up, Mike.
Totally not
I'm
unreasonable.
expert level 99. You can't do this.
MA, another somebody else says yes. They know what I'm talking about. They know the video. Everybody knows the video,
Everybody
right?
I wouldn't be surprised
Everybody
if
except
somebody
Scott.
named everybody,
Scott
showed up, and
and-
voted
And
yes.
Scott doesn't.
Come on,
Scott
Russ.
doesn't hang out on the internet, right?
Well, every other
What's
day
the
of the week,
internet?
and even during the day, Thursday, Russ is usually in a coma.
Literally.
Oh,
I'm only a producer
Guys.
for a conservative talk radio station. How am I supposed to keep up with
Russ
current events?
disappeared before the show. I
You know
couldn't
what?
find him. It was having a conniption.
You know what,
Who's
Mike?
Brandon?
Shut your butt.
I'm too tired to do my
I'm too
job.
tired.
I'm tired, guys. I need a nap. Where's the My Pillow?
Yeah, when I-
Where's the alternative? Where's
Not
the
Bed Bath & Beyond.
Where's the leftist alternative to the My Pillow? I need a nap, guys.
where's-
I can't use the My Pillow because conservatives expect people to work for a living.
Do you regularly get tired during the workday?
Yeah, get that.
You might have
always come
COVID.
up with excuses for your boss. Well, we've got the product just for you. The
Mike ain't
I'm
my
tired
boss.
right now pillow.
So
The next time you wake up from your nap, call us at 1-8.
I'm a leftist and I'm tired, so I'm not gonna go to work.
Jeremy,
I really don't feel like going to
Oh
work
my God.
today.
Oh.
Yeah.
When I worked in
Oh my
financial services back in the day, if you were late 3 times, like you could literally be 2 minutes late to work in 6 months, you were fired.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah, we keep
Russ,
track of
you
that
heard that?
stuff. If you're not
When
on
we-
the phone, logged in to talk to the client
I'm
by your start time.
I'm gonna hire a Trump
Bye-bye.
impersonator to fire Russ when he's fired. Hey, Russell, what you've done has been unacceptable. It's truly been unacceptable. Everybody knows it.
Slick Willie can stay.
I'm not gonna say you're lazy and terrible at your job because that wouldn't be nice.
So what
Russell,
you're saying is Slick
you're
Willie
fired.
can stay.
Yeah.
Russ has to go.
No, you're just busy with important things like seminars, Scott. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Scott's
Yeah,
busy
yeah,
attending
yeah.
over 100 seminars.
Right,
and doing
right.
Okay,
websites.
guys. So
Everybody commented yes. Somebody's name in the chat is everybody.
Everybody.
Yes, I love this.
you know what?
Jeremy says that was a mastery of trolling, and that man deserves an award. So before we watch that,
I'm
video
gonna
that
get.
everybody-
Hang on, Mike. Hang on. Stop it.
No,
I
no,
wanna
no, I'm
guess,
not gonna stop it.
because
This is
I've
my
heard
program.
of a mastery troll clip, okay, where Biden's on the phone with a guy.
How about you just play the clip like I asked you to?
How about you
instead of
shut
telling
up and let me
everybody?
play the clip?
Yeah, play the clip.
Shut up,
Hit
Mike.
It, Russ. Hit it, Russ.
Granddaughter.
Yeah.
Can't bring her granddaughter.
And
where-
how about Penelope?
Well, Penelope, she's only 2, so I think she'd be happy with just about it.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful that you have a 2-year-old.
Well,
Have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas.
and by the way, you guys have to be in bed by 9 o'clock, and asleep between 9 and 12, or he doesn't show up.
This isn't to you, Jared. This is to the kids.
That's right.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful
Hey,
Christmas.
well- Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well.
Oh,
Merry
thank you.
Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way,
Oh, let's go.
I agree.
He's talking about being in bed by 9 o'clock. You think he's in bed by 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I think
Let's
by
go,
7.
Brandon, and
Way
I
past
agree.
his bedtime, right?
Right.
We're just gonna like this clip.
He could star in that new pillow commercial. Yeah.
That's great. So I took the floor away from Russ's knuckleheadery. Spotlight away from Liberty Lee's results and reveal.
Oh yeah.
So did you have anything additional to say before the reveal, Liberty?
Yes, it was incredibly hard to find a test. And like I said, because of my situation, I have to know if I have it. I do think it would be less severe if I had it. Actually, somebody in my family has it right now for the second time, and it really is more of a bronchial situation, something that we've all dealt with all of our lives. But I had to know. So there's no tests, no at-home tests. Everything's sold out. Thanks, Joe Biden, for just everything being a mess. Just saying, everything. But anyway. So I had to drive an hour and a half, and I had to pay a ridiculous amount of money.
How much? How much?
And you want to take a poll for that? I don't know. How much are COVID tests running these days? You guys want to know, like, private pay COVID tests, how much they run?
It was like a black market test or something.
Well, so you can get...
Chris, was yours free of charge?
Well, I actually went to try to buy them, like Liberty said, at all the major, chains. I went to 3 different places, but they were like sold out everywhere, they were saying. So I went to one of the Florida test sites, and they don't charge. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and plus,
Liberty bought it from this guy who had like watches inside his jacket on the other side, and he had COVID tests on the left.
No, listen, I was
like handwritten.
He's like, you got the stuff?
I got the PCR test right here for
I was
you.
actually like a Jersey person, like looking for this PCR. I'm like, yo, listen, I don't want anything else. I want the PCR test. That's all I want. So I'm looking for the PCR.
MA says $150. MA says $150. So we've got one guess over
Guys
here.
are wrong.
150,
Bring it in, bring it in.
150, 150. Do we
No,
hear
no,
160?
we gotta
160, come at you.
Place your bets. Place your bets. T says free with Aetna. No, we're talking about if you have to pay for it. If you have to pay for it, because there's some sites where they tell you,
private,
well, they'll tell you you have to pay for it, and you could ask your insurance company to pay you back. We can't guarantee that they will.
Right.
That's
private
the
company.
It is. I've seen these before.
It's a private company. They were verified.
Rita says $75.
No.
I've seen them. My brother bought a couple of at-home kits, and he said that they're like $15 at Walmart and like $25 at CVS.
Well, what she's talking about, you go to an actual site. I think there's a place in our area called 15 to Know or something like that, where, yeah, I think this was called 15 to Know.
It's one of those pop-up shops.
And you go out there. Durso says $200.
200.
So the votes so far, the guesses are the
I
way
like to do polls.
$150, $75, $200. Who wants to take the over or the under? Anybody think it costs less than 75 or more than 200? Let's get some action here.
I'm gonna say
Come
50.
on here, people.
I'm saying 50.
Give me under 75 or over $200.
50.
Show me what you're made of.
50, 50, 50.
Step right up. Step right up. MA says mine was one for 150 and a second for 75. Almost buy one get one. They give you like a punch card over there, MA. You're like, well, for being such a loyal COVID customer. For thinking
Here, have a free ice cream.
Listen, it was enough, like, and right around Christmas time. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, this is getting crazy, man. Inflation. I don't know what it was, but should I say the number?
Educated Citizen says $201, taking the over.
300.
Anybody? Russ, are you taking? If you're gonna guess, you have to put it in writing. You got to put it in writing, otherwise it doesn't count.
All right. Give me a sec.
They're gonna think I'm crazy for doing it, but
201, 201,
That's
201.
Bingo.
Chris, you're muted. Chris, you're muted.
Chris is muted.
Good job, Chris.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even realize. Thanks.
Muted
Russ,
level
you
for a
went
while.
for the over.
Over. What?
Okay, says 300. 300. Anybody have 202? 202, anybody? 202. Take the
How long
over.
we get to this
Anybody want to take the under? Anybody have $74 or 202? $74 or 202. He says $1. $1.
But wait, there's more.
$1. $1.
$1.
If you go over, then is it like the Price is Right, where if you go over, it's no good. You have to be.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
what do you
I
win?
think so. I think so, yeah.
What's
Like
the
the Price is
prize,
Right?
Mike? What do you win?
We're basically, we're advertising for this company.
Right.
There's a case we read in law school where they promised somebody, this radio program, I think it was, promised somebody a Toyota. They said you've won a Toyota.
Oh,
They go to their job. They bring
was
them
a
out
Hot
to the parking
Wheels.
lot. They blindfold them. They get to the parking lot, and it's a toy, like a doll of Yoda from Star Wars.
oh, a
Yoda.
Eric
Toyota.
said
Oh.
$199.95.
And the guy sued them.
Nice.
The guy ended up suing them.
What?
Eric,
yeah?
what you got to do is you got to either take 202
Wait,
or you got to
wait.
take. So if it was 200, then somebody
Did he
guessed
win the
200 on the
suit?
nose.
Yeah, so 199.95.
Wait, wait, wait.
95,
I want
Put
to
you
hear
right
more
below
about
the
this
200.
Toyota guy.
right below the 200.
Right.
Right below the 200.
$1.
So if it's 199.99, then Eric wins.
Yes. That's
Okay.
right.
Any last minute bets to get in there?
$199.99.
What are they winning mustard or something? I mean,
Win a jar of mustard.
seriously, we'll send some Cat's Deli.
Why don't you give
Send
him
you
a
the mustard award. I
give him
have
a real,
sent you the
um,
mustard award before.
real Toyota?
All right.
A
All right.
Toyota. Oh,
199.
man.
Rusty Kit. Okay. MA says 206.47. All right. Liberty, reveal it. What is it?
It was $225.
Whoa. hey
225.
now.
MA
Wow.
is the winner.
Wow,
MA
look at
with
that.
206.
Whoa,
Have won
206.47.
yourself. MA has won themselves
Nice.
a jar of mustard.
Mustard. Woohoo.
Get yourself
Okay,
a jar of
MA.
mustard.
Send us your address through MikeGinthemorning.com.
There we
Send
go.
us an address.
Although I think I know who
mail,
that
a
is.
jar of mustard.
New mustard
We will
award
do it.
going
You
out.
can ask Randy.
Send
This
it
is
to a
Primo
P.O.
Mustard.
box and leave it there.
You can
Actually,
ask Randy.
we might throw in some bagels for you too. Some
Oh,
nice.
That's
nice.
what we did with Randy. We
New York
sent
deal.
Randy a jar of mustard.
They might need them in the
Listen, this is top quality mustard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Would you buy if we had official branded Mike G in the Morning mustard? Would you support our cause by purchasing all of your mustard from Mike G in the Morning?
There you go.
I want everybody to comment in the chat. Would you be willing to purchase all of your mustard from the Mike G in the Morning program?
Oi,
And
mate,
if
If
can
you
you
would,
send me a
that
shipment
could
of 30
fund this
mustard,
program
please?
forever.
Wait.
Yeah.
And if they do, I want to know if they want the squeezy kind or the jar.
I will tell you, I feel there's some kind of a purity about having mustard in a jar. You know, if
Um,
you're a true mustard connoisseur, you want it in a jar. That's just
with
my
a little
opinion.
spoon too.
Yeah, yeah.
Educated Citizen says, yes,
Yes.
we'll purchase mustard from the Mike G in the Morning program.
Mhm.
Says yes twice. This dude's really excited about mustard.
Apparently.
Rita,
Yes,
Rita.
yes, and yes.
and yes.
And
Three
yes.
yeses.
He
Rita
really
says
wants
yes.
that mustard.
Rita
Already
would.
sold 3 jars.
Durso said sure, would purchase
Uh-huh.
mustard. We will fulfill your mustard needs. Only the best mustard.
Mm-hmm.
MA says come in 5-gallon tubs. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I like mustard too.
Rita
because
says
boy
she would
needs a mustard
prefer a
seed.
jar of mustard. I'm
Eat a
with you.
tub of mustard.
SM Durso says spicy brown. I'd imagine we could have different varieties of mustard.
Yeah,
what we'll have to
totally.
do is have some kind of mustard taste testing event
That's a
where
good idea.
they have these little cups of the mustard,
Mhm.
and Chris and I get to go there and decide
Have a
what is
mustard.
the finest
Have
mustard.
Have a mustard convention.
Yeah, mustard
What would be
contest.
willing?
Mustard con.
Because if we're gonna put our name on mustard,
Right, right.
then it's got to be
It's gonna be nice.
top-notch mustard. It's
Top-notch
gotta be high
mustard.
quality mustard.
It's the only kind of mustard we have around here.
We stand by our mustard.
We do stand by
Stand
the
by our
mustard.
mustard.
Hang
I
on,
just
guys.
want to
Hang on.
say,
Does that make
If
all
you
of
can't
us the
trust Mike G
mustard-eating
for mustard,
knuckleheads?
then everything else goes out the window.
That's right.
Tell you
And
what, somebody
mustard,
gets some
mustard kind of
quality
clears your sinuses, guys. So I
There's
feel
a
like
direct correlation between mustard and your lawyering skills, I think.
Lawyer level 99.
Right, right.
mustard
Grey
helps your
Poupon.
sinuses. So I feel like this is the great time to get out some mustard.
helps your sinuses. It raises your IQ. It makes you taller.
Yeah, we'll do a commercial about it. We could.
You'll walk through walls.
We'll do
You
like
can
the Grey
walk through
Poupon.
walls.
We'll-
You can't
Makes
taste
you
it
jump
if you
higher.
use your-
As a matter of fact, Michael Jordan credits his career with
Uh-huh.
his consumption of mustard on a daily basis. Remember the flu game, the famous flu game where Jordan put up all those points having the flu? I believe it was in the NBA Finals. A very important game in his
Oh,
career.
okay.
Flu
All right.
game. Jordan had the flu, played through it.
Was it the
The
mustard?
only reason he was able to do so is because he consumed mass quantities of
Mass
mustard before, during, and after the game.
Hey, it makes sense. It's good for your immune system. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind and your soul. And, it's tasty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody just said that they're treating the COVID test like Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
What's that mean?
Like they're like giving them out. Like, can you get a COVID test? You know, they're
Right.
like so rare now. You just
Oh yeah, no, that's true. They are extremely limited right now.
It's hard to get. Yeah, there was quite a few people in
Artificially
line down there
limited,
in
if
Florida.
So
Yes,
you know what
me.
you do, guys? You get the vax. I think that this is what this all.
Uh-oh.
They want us to get the
Oh.
vax.
Mm.
If you
Hmm.
if you have a scare and there's all these tests that are not out there,
I
you
can't get a
run out
test. I
of-
can't get a test. Well, then I guess you have to get the vax, don't you?
Right.
Because
Can't let a
You
crisis
don't
go
have
to
a
waste.
choice,
right?
do you?
I mean, Philly Chris is starting. His conspiracies are starting to look really awfully tempting.
Right?
It's not
right?
my opinion, guys. These
It's
are
not
facts.
my opinion. A lot of
Philly
it.
Chris's conspiracy corner. It's
Is-
like I don't know. Something's
Right?
off
Not my
here.
opinion, guys.
Is there a
Yeah,
word
no.
for when a conspircy turns out to be true? Like, is there a word for
Uh,
that?
yeah,
like in French?
2021. Pretty much. Well, the alien should be here soon.
I don't know. Let's ask the lawyers that.
The
Like,
false
what's
flag.
that word? Lawyers know big words.
Well, if you're talking about the crime of conspiracy, it's completely different than a conspiracy theory.
Right.
Okay.
Conspiracy
It's
coming true.
Entirely
I
different.
guess it'd be
No, I'm just
conspiracy
saying
fact.
lawyers know big words. So does any lawyers out there watching, or does Mike know a word when a conspiracy comes true? What's it called?
Do you know any big words?
Oh, quite a
Can
few
you tell
things
us
they were
some
He
big
says,
called.
words?
he says, not only would T purchase mustard from the Mike G in the Morning program, he says, how about horseradish?
Mm.
It's scientifically level 99, stronger than antibiotics. You know, it's a real shame that T's got to conceal the identity and not come on the program.
Right. Gotta change that
Oh,
up a little
man.
bit.
T sounds like a spitfire.
We should get T in one of those. You ever see those Vice documentaries where they get on like these former drug dealers and stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. Those
People
are
who
pretty
don't want to
cool.
get
Yeah.
caught, and they've got like the
The
Pink
silhouette
Floyd,
with the
we
deep
don't need no
voice.
education mask on. Got the
Right.
face changer.
I don't
we can get you
need
on the program. It's one of
Wait,
those.
I have a feeling that T and DG would kind of get along. They like, you know,
They're on the same wavelength.
a little bit, yeah.
I actually have a list here of things that were conspiracy theories that are now truth. If you want me to read them, DeSantis posted this.
Are they actually? So, is it
Well-
going to get us kicked off?
Well, the zucchini can spread COVID, or the
Well, let's just say
Yeah.
that in general, across the history of the United
The
States,
what?
right? We found that a lot of things haven't exactly been the way they seem, right?
That's correct.
We can say that in a lot of different
Yeah.
things, not just 2020 and 2021. That's why when
Right.
you said that, it's kind of like, well, no, it's really not just that. There've been a lot of things over the years. This goes back a long, long time
Good
before
point,
goes back before our lifetime.
Right. That's right.
Even
I think
your
people know.
lifetime.
Our listeners
Chris.
know. Oh
Even for
yeah.
your lifetime.
Even a couple hundred years ago. Yeah.
A couple hundred years ago,
Yeah.
before the
Uh-huh.
Ten Commandments.
That's right. That's right. I saw those.
What
get
was that?
chiseled.
Yeah, what was that like when they came out?
It was cool, man. It was pretty neat. They're all shiny and new and fresh. Pretty cool stuff going on there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Had that just carved into stone smell,
Right. Yeah. It was like a new car, but fresh stone.
but with stone.
And then, so after a few hundred years, when it lost that, did you have to get one of those little Christmas tree looking things from the car wash to
Right. Exactly.
New tablet
Fresh
smell.
little- yeah.
new tablet
The
smell?
new tablet smell. Right.
New tablet
Mhm.
smell. Do we have any other guests coming on this evening? Liberty, did we cut you off, or you're good to go?
No, that was it. Just
That is true about the tests, though, that you can't find them anywhere.
It's like the
Wasn't that
golden
one of
ticket.
their-
That's why. Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the
It's-
big complaints that the I don't know what to call them right now.
General
but
public.
the critics had about Trump,
Trump.
Rick Trump when he was in office. When
Well-
Trump was in office, didn't a lot of his critics say that, hey, he wasn't testing enough people, that tests weren't readily available? And this was like
yeah.
it was like the day the virus came out. He's
Right.
like, dude,
Right.
how about give me a minute, all right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how come you
He's-
don't have these tests for this virus that didn't exist until yesterday? because you're a
Right.
bad president. You're a bad, stupid
Bad.
man.
Stupid.
Well, it was pretty convenient. You just go kind of like what Chris did. You just go through the drive-through, and
Mhm.
they came with the little stick thing. I've had it a few times, but the strange thing is remember when in the beginning they told you had to stick it way up in your nostrils? Well, she didn't give me any directions, so then I was like, well, how far do I stick it back? I was a little confused, so I didn't want to. She was already on.
You gotta scratch your brain with it.
No, there are different mechanisms that they do that testing. Isn't that true, Chris?
I believe so. Yeah,
There's
I believe
one. I forget what they. I wish I knew what they called them, but I've seen the different terms and the explanations before. But that may be why, Liberty.
Yeah.
You may have had two different kinds of tests.
so. Right.
That's why.
When they did mine, she didn't really go up that far.
So she did it.
I
for
know
you,
of a
Chris.
dude who
Wait,
got the
wait,
test
let's
with
compare
the beginning,
Yeah.
and he was overseas at work. He worked for an oil and gas company.
Okay.
And when they did the test on him, they like punctured the back of his throat or something.
Really?
And the dude had this massive bleeding, and he's stuck overseas with no doctors.
Man, that's crazy.
And they had to drive like 3 hours a week later
Wow.
to get him to a doctor.
Oh, that's
And
insane.
nobody spoke English.
Total nightmare.
Oh my!
I heard a few
horrifying.
stories about that where they went up too high or pushed too hard. Yeah, it's pretty
Jeez.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the last thing you need.
Yeah.
I
right.
would not let somebody else
Hold
put a
on.
thing up my nose. That
Liberty.
sounds like a terrible idea.
Liberty, Jeremy says I sent you something through the Mike G in the Morning Instagram. Liberty, do you have access to that?
Yeah.
I think I said it right that time. People always rip on me because I've said the Instagram website.
Yeah, the Instagrams. Yeah.
Was what?
But you were doing that on purpose to be funny, I think.
What?
I thought he was.
You were doing that on purpose to be
Oh,
funny.
we can't let the cat out of the bag because it irritated so many people. I get so many messages like, "That's not what it's called."
Right.
What happened was the first time I said it on the air,
Mhm.
I legitimately didn't know because I'm not one of these social media guys. I thought it was called the Instagrams.
Oh Lord.
And so I said it, and I got so many people like that got majorly irritated about it. That I was like, oh, horrible move.
Might as well.
Horrible
Right,
move,
right.
people. Because then, of course, I made sure I said it loud and clear every single week for the next 2.5 years
Right.
and ignored all the subsequent hate messages about what a moron I am because I don't know what Instagram is called. It's just so
Well,
I think it's great.
satisfying.
No, I had a
sit
couple
here and
people
laugh
say stuff to me, and I'm like,
crack up.
he knows. He knows.
Well,
Who would say something?
I had a couple of friends up north say something to me, and I was like, yeah, he knows.
Not
He knows what
called
it's
that,
called.
Billy, Chris. Not called that. Were they saying it like out of genuine concern, like, hey, Mike might want to know that it's not called that? Or were they like shaking their fists, like, he doesn't know what it's called? Which one was it?
A little of both, I think. Maybe
Okay.
one was
I'd
one way. one
much
was the
rather
other.
it be the people that get irritated by it.
Right, yeah, they were a little.
It makes it much more fun for me.
Kind of reminds
Much
me
more
of how.
fun.
Right.
Kind
Like, Chris, remember that time during the pandemic when we were all on lockdown and so we're not seeing each other and we were doing a lot of the group text?
Yeah.
You and Liberty and Russ and I. And
Uh-huh.
Russ was getting irritated because he doesn't have an iPhone.
Right.
And every time one of us would do that thing where you hold down the message and click the thumbs up or the heart,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah, you
it
like
would
it or
come up
heart it.
as a text like Mike G liked, comment, whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
and I got a
Love,
notification
comment, whatever.
every bloody
He was
time.
getting notifications every time. So it's like, guys, can you please stop clicking the liked and the love and everything because I'm getting notifications every time. And it's really annoying.
Wow, you really nailed me
And
there,
so
Mike.
as soon as he said that, me and Chris went bananas on liking and exclamation point, emphasizing and liking and loving and disliking.
Yeah, you like something that I liked your thing that you liked, and then you
Yeah. We're using those things one on top of the other for like an hour after
That
that.
was great.
Yeah, I had like 800 new messages.
Literally hundreds of messages.
that was phenomenal.
Because Russ
I must
asked us
say.
not to do something.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like when I try to tell you guys to do something.
SM
Really?
Durso says Mike G Troll level 99.
Right.
Well, I take that as the highest honor.
I
sir.
will
I
endorse that. I will
take
endorse
that
that.
as the highest honor because I'll tell you what, it takes persistence to continue on with a troll for 2.5 years. It wasn't easy. There are times I thought about giving up. But I said, nay, sir, you got to dig down deep.
Right.
There's more left out in this trolling. There are more salty tears to be cried. There are more snowflakes
To be melted.
To melt.
to be offended.
Well, but I don't know if
That's
anybody
what
thinks
keeps
like
me
me,
going.
but
That was
I'm
good.
there.
Get my eye on the prize.
Back to the test real quick.
No
Yeah.
eye in team.
So I wanted to compare notes with Philly Chris about the test, but really quick, because then I'm sure people would be bored of it. But then, so I like to do things right when I do it. I'm one of those people. I was like a teacher's advocate. Don't ask. But anyway, so I was nervous that I didn't do it correctly, and I was going to get the wrong results, and I paid all that money, and I drove that far, and not to get the correct results. So I asked her afterwards. I said, because I saw another one there. I was like, well, I guess I can do it again. It was 30 seconds in each nostril. So I'm counting to 30. I mean, I don't know if anybody does it exactly, but I was literally counting to 30. So I told her that. I said, well, wait. I said, you didn't say how far I had to go up. And she's like, oh, to your septum. I'm like, I don't think I went up that far. But she's like, she just looked at me. She didn't say anything. And she just walked to the next car. I was like, okay. So there's nothing you could do. But I'm pretty sure it was accurate because I've had them before. But so then I actually also told her, talk about giving too much information. I said, I think I did 28 seconds in the left nostril.
She probably thought you were kidding.
I kid you not. This is why I don't talk to police officers, because
Liberty's so particular.
That's great.
You check your
last
level
2 seconds of my
99.
test,
I
ma'am.
hope you're okay. Have a good day. It's okay.
Miss, I'm sorry. I missed 2 seconds of the test there.
Can
I get
I have
another
a
one?
new one?
I was serious.
Did I fail?
Listen, I was $25. I was getting it right. I don't know.
Liberty's very much by the book.
No, you are. That's good though. I love
Very
that
much.
about
Oh, you know what? You know what that reminds me of? When Squidward tried to blow bubbles, and it kept on going down to the
And-
floor.
And nobody else got the
29,
reference.
not
No.
31.
No? Oh, okay.
30 seconds.
How do you not remember that? That's season 1.
Oh,
Okay.
so you don't know the "Let's Go Brandon" Christmas video with the president that everybody,
Yeah, I know that one.
everybody who's right for Bernie Sanders knows this video, and you're not aware of it. But you expect us to get a reference of a
You know what?
SpongeBob
You know what,
clip
Mike?
that
You know
aired
what,
in
Mike?
2002.
I don't even think
right?
Joe is aware of it, and he was in it.
A SpongeBob SquarePants clip that episode that aired in 2002.
I almost passed out.
It was actually
laughing.
1999.
Oh,
1999.
sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yes.
Thank you, Russ.
19
Makes sense.
level 99.
Makes sense.
We'll get that clip for next week.
Oh, okay.
And put
Big
it in the doc.
announcement next week.
Put it in the
right?
doc, Russ.
Yeah.
If you don't know the recent "Let's Go Brandon" clip that went viral, but do know an obscure SpongeBob clip
It's
from
not
2002 and expect
obscure!
everybody to know, then you might be a liberal.
Okay, Jeff.
And folks, what is worse than a liberal?
Yo, mama.
Chris, you do the pull up that tornado commercial. It's about time. It's been
Oh
too
yeah,
long.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pull up
Russ must
tornado.
have it, right? You got that?
I don't.
Oh,
Russ is
come
a
on.
liberal. Come
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. No, I don't have that just sitting around waiting for you to call on it,
Well,
Mike.
that needs to be, if you're going to be a part of this program,
Yeah.
there's 2 things you need to do.
Wait, who
You-
says
you-
I'm part of this program? When did that happen?
Okay.
You are for the next 20 minutes.
20 minutes left.
I did send the photo Jeremy sent, just FYI, to Mike as a text and the group as a text.
Well, why can't we get that in the doc?
Oh, yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
In the dock.
Pull it in the doc.
Put it in the doc.
Put
So I
it in
cannot
the
look at
dock
it.
or I will
Right.
destroy you.
Do we have any other guests coming on?
How about
Tonight?
Marvin the Martian?
There we go. I think we have all the guests for this evening.
Oh, yeah.
I got Marvin on the phone. Marvin the
Mm.
Martian.
On there?
I heard we're having one more guest, but
Oh, are we?
What?
No, it was a rumor, maybe.
Oh no.
Slick
Troll
Willie
level
come back on, or?
99.
I knew it was Slick Willie.
I heard
Slick
there was.
Willie?
I heard there was an actor joining us.
Oh,
Is
really?
there any way to get anybody that is in the comments on the show just for like a New Year's show, or like anybody who wants to call in?
Mr. Watkins? Coming on?
Can Russ
I
handle
don't know,
that?
I heard.
Yeah?
I can
That'd be
handle
cool.
that if you give me a phone number. I can't just call these people from my butt.
Well, the word on the street, Russ, is that
That's not what I heard.
that's the word on the street, man.
You saying
Oh,
you
sorry.
can't is a
I have one of
conspiracy
those
theory.
probes.
You saying that you can't is a conspiracy theory propagated by the
Right.
left.
Okay, guys, you called me in a lie. I do have one of those butt probes. I can actually signal from space. I'm connected to Starlink.
Okay, I put the
You
photo
have
in the
an
doc.
unusually large butt.
Are you calling me Kardashian?
Definitely not.
Okay.
No, didn't do that.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I've used my butt as a coffee table.
Maybe Jenner.
Yeah.
Who's our next guest?
And just FYI, I put the photo in the doc.
All right, so
Right.
why don't we
What
pull up
doc?
that photo?
You know, the doc.
What
The
doc?
thing.
Is that a
The
fact?
thing.
Too bad AC ain't in charge no more.
Hmm.
Okay. What is this? What am I looking at? Oh, nobody else can see. Ha ha!
Hmm.
Oh, and you have the wrong name tag. Hang on.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Shut up! Who's
There
texting
you
me?
go.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
This is what I have to deal with.
Keep the change, you filthy.
You guys, are you doing this on purpose?
Is that the Obama slogan, right? Wasn't that it?
Let me see. I missed
Yes.
it. What was it?
Keep
Open
the
change,
change,
you filthy animal.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's exactly
Open change.
what it
Filthy
Open change.
animal.
We're going to hope for change. We're gonna
Open
make some
change.
Hope and change.
Filthy animal.
We hope you keep the change. You
They
filthy
changed
animals.
some things, all right.
I'm going to give you, to the count of 10,
Do it, Mike. Do it. Keep going.
Woo!
get your no good keister off my property, or I pump your guts full of lead.
Do it closer to the mic. Okay, Johnny. I'm sorry. I'm going.
1, 2, 10. How does Obama laugh?
Can't hear anybody. Okay. Something.
Keep
What
the change.
Keep the
Filthy
change.
animal.
the heck just happened?
Having
You
a
got the
change
cadence
shortage
down.
again.
Get on your knees and tell me you love me.
That's more. Never mind.
That's awful.
Is this more Slick Willie?
Yeah, that's more Slick
Does Slick
Yeah,
Willie say that
might be
line?
More Slick Willie, yeah.
Get on your-
Well,
Hang
do
on,
better
hang
than
on.
that.
Actually, you do the Obama pretty good because I just watched something called Cars with Comedians with Jerry Seinfeld, and he had
Oh,
Obama,
I saw that
and
a
you
little
did it.
bit,
You're pretty
yeah.
much on point. He
Yeah.
never stops talking with those pauses.
Right.
Oh God.
What was
those
he talking to
pros.
Jerry Seinfeld about?
He went in the car and
The
they
episode
talked
with
about
the suit
car.
factory.
Nobody
I don't
knows,
get it.
but anything that takes 10 minutes for a normal person to say, Obama takes like 30 with those pauses. You ever try editing one of his clips? That's a nightmare.
Well, we had to do that during one of the live shows because we just didn't have enough time. I wanted,
Yeah.
I wanted.
So,
It
just
was
to
like
switch-
2 relevant sentences. It's like, dude, we only got an hour here. Let's go, speed it up.
Yeah,
Right.
it's terrible.
Well,
And I want to go through labor. I want to deliver the baby. Let's go. Come on.
not to switch the subject, but I know what Jeremy Miller and this photo are talking about. I know people who are listening are interested in that. So,
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Why
Yeah.
don't you? There's text above that.
Chris,
'Cause
can
I
you
can't
read
see
it?
I'm trying to see. Oh, okay, sure. This bay of fertilizer would have cost me around $18,000 last year. Today we put it in for just over $40,000. A total roundup 275 gallons last year, $4,900, and today just over $14,000. This is just two of the inputs for growing a crop. This is not a political statement, so do not take it as such. This is real world prices farmers are having to battle. Wow, yeah, that's pretty serious stuff going on there.
Like, he didn't say like, "Thanks a lot, Obama" at the end.
Right,
You know?
right,
It's
right.
just like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is not my opinion, guys. These are facts.
These are facts.
This is what it cost last year.
Yeah.
This is what it cost today."
That's
wanna
what
hear it.
hyperinflation looks like.
Oh yeah.
It looks like, and then that'll translate right into the food supply.
Well, that's true, right?
Yeah, right.
You got
Yep.
to get it from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's
Welcome. 2022 should be interesting.
So how long does it take for that to make it to the consumer? That kind of a price jump.
I guess if they're getting ready for the next crop, then it would probably be in the next season, depending on what they're growing. Yeah, where depending on where they are, where that is, and what they're using.
Jeremy, do we have any background on that? Maybe he can put it in the comments if there's anything else he can share about
He
it.
did.
sure,
He
sure.
said something.
Livestock.
He said the basic necessities to grow crops and livestock are doubling and tripling. Food is going to follow when the season's crops and livestock
There you go. Yeah.
come to market. It's crazy.
Right. No, good point, Jeremy. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and we're seeing this across the board. The trucking, and then also to truck the stuff around is more. Everything's more, right? We talked about this whole past year on the show.
And
all the
you get
consequences.
inflation, and you get inflation, and you
Yeah.
get inflation. Everybody's going home with inflation.
That should make you definitely want to get into hunting a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good point. Sure.
Get
Yeah.
yourself a
Well,
couple deer. And
I think
turkey.
Billy, Chris, Mike, and Rush should go hunting and
Let's go.
go get some
I'm
food
not
for
going.
the rest of us.
If Russ is as awful as hunting as he is, somebody's getting shot in the. Russ would definitely pull a Dick Cheney, right?
I was just going to
Who's the
say, as long
resident
as Russ
hunter
is
in
not
the Mikey in the
armed.
Morning family group?
One of
Who's
us
the
knows.
resident hunter? Anybody in the comments?
Rita says, "When is homeschool Will coming back on?" I was just thinking about that the other day. We got to get
He was good.
homeschool.
Yeah,
Will
we should
back.
have him back on. That's good. That was a good point.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was good.
Hopefully, his parents are like, "You're not allowed to hang out with those guys no more."
Like,
So they're a bad influence on you,
Right.
homeschool Will.
right.
Homeschool Will.
He came home and he was saying, "Let's go, Brandon," in his homeschool class and stuff. Like, where did you hear that?
Mike G and
Jeremy
Philly
said his
Chris.
friends are predicting bread will be $10 a loaf.
We're about to enter into Great Depression. It's
It doesn't sound very great.
and they're going to go after the financial markets.
What does
I've
bread
been
cost
hearing
now? As somebody who gets put in the hospital if I have
too.
something.
right.
I shouldn't say that, right? You'll have leftists see me at a restaurant and try to poison me.
Yeah, be careful with that. Yeah, they'll dunk their bread right in your coffee. Dunk.
I just blew it. We're gonna have to take this episode off the air.
Yeah. Well, you're
It's true,
kidding
they
about
already
that
labeled
anyway.
you. They already labeled you as like offensive or whatever.
Inappropriate and offensive.
Right.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate and offensive level 99.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call it back.
$10 a loaf. Did something? Can somebody tell me what bread typically costs?
I can look it up
it's,
on
$3,
Walmart.
$4, $5, depending on the quality of the bread. I guess for like a regular inexpensive sliced loaf, right?
So like Wonder Bread.
Yeah. And so everything's a little more now.
What about like white bread from Walmart? What would that cost?
I'm gonna go on
I mean,
Walmart. We're
it'd
gonna
still
do
be
a
a couple
cost
bucks.
analysis. We're gonna do a cost analysis. I'm gonna bring
Yeah.
it up on Walmart.com and see how much it
Good
costs.
old Wonder Bread.
Check it out, Russ. Put it in the doc.
Yeah. Why don't we go to?
But even the dollar store isn't the dollar store anymore. They just raised their prices on things, which is understandable.
$2.
You know? The $1.25 store now, the $1.50 store.
Wonder Bread's $3.
$3, $2.99.
Everything in here is $1 and up.
Yeah, good time to make your own bread. It's not that hard to do. Get a little yeast.
Or just stop eating bread.
I like to let it rise twice.
Really?
Put a wet towel on top of it. Yeah, I like making my own bread.
Really?
Yeah. You can roll it out, put some cinnamon in there.
I would love
Make
to have an
cinnamon
episode
bread.
where you bake your own bread.
Let's do it. We'll do it. My mother taught me.
I can't be
And-
anywhere near you unless. Oh.
MA was close.
I
It's
guess that-
$2.58 for a loaf of Wonder Bread.
$2.58.
$2.58.
$2.58.
I went to this website.
Hey, yeah, squirrel traps.
I'm seeing
Let's see.
230.
We've
was it
had a guest on the
234?
show. Farmer Matt sometimes
see.
makes squirrels.
Ew.
How's he get him? Trap it in a
All
Shoot
coat,
'em.
and hit it with a
I'm
hammer.
seeing Sara Lee Artisan original flavor 429. Sara Lee butter bread 419.
Mm.
Some kind of Arnold is a brand.
I want
Arnold's
Brit.
is good.
Brand is called Arnold,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
and it is whole grain, 12 grain. It is
Yeah.
$5.49, so a little more expensive for the good stuff.
Of course, because
beef,
healthy
beef
food
is going
always
to get real
costs more.
expensive.
Looks
That's
like
why
they got this generic enriched bread Italian. It's got the Italian flag on it. Not sure what makes it Italian.
uh-huh.
Looks like white bread. $2.39. Nature's Own honey wheat bread $4.19.
I mean, it says made in America, so it's probably true.
I like honey bread.
It's a good idea, Jeremy.
Okay, we
Mm.
got white round top $1.39 for 20 ounces. So that's your best.
Can you guys have chickens?
Keep the change, you
Mike?
filthy
You can have
animal.
chickens. You get some
Chickens?
chickens. Yeah.
At the house.
Yeah.
One of my offices, there were chickens literally right next door.
You
Like, they
could
just walk
probably
around
have
sometimes.
them. Yeah. Good time to get them.
I wish I had chickens.
They're good. The eggs are good.
You
I
should
used
get
to
some
get them
chickens.
from- yeah.
Why
telling
not? Make it new project, Liberty. Get some
And a
chickens.
llama. I'll probably get you guys a llama at some point, just so you know.
I would love to have some chickens.
Each one of us get our own llama.
Yeah,
I would
let's
make
do
friends
it.
with them.
So what would you get him in return?
Who's that?
What?
The llama?
He wants to know where Jeremy's from. Columbia County, Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Jeremy said, I've already gotten friends, local farmers. We're going to buy
Yeah.
cows and pigs, butcher ourselves, and split among family groups
Yeah.
when these prices come to market.
Good time to do that. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Surf
things are
was
going to
the
get
start.
pretty interesting here. I think they're going to do something to the financial system here sooner than later, too, it looks like.
Mm.
When we get that digital dollar out, they're working on our social credit scores. They got them ready to go, from what I understand.
That really makes me nervous, Billy Chris.
Yeah, get your QR. You can get
Well,
your own QR code.
Is
You
that
can
the
probably
first
get it
prediction for
tattooed on your forehead.
2022? Is it Philly Chris making a prediction?
I'm throwing it out there.
Social scores.
Yeah, social credit
So do you think
scores,
that could
yeah.
ultimately become the mark of the beast? Because they'll say something about if you believe in God,
Mm,
then you have a low social credit score and you can't get the
yeah.
barcode or whatever.
That could be it too, sure. And then they can control what you buy. I mean, as a constitutional attorney, Second Amendment specialist, I mean, what if they?
These people do believe that Christians are crazy, though.
Of course they do.
Mm.
They do. Yeah, I've had people say that to me recently.
Yeah.
MA said, did we just circle back to the Price is Right, but this time we were in the second round guessing prices?
COVID
That's
tests.
how we did this
We've
show.
done COVID tests and
Been a
bread.
good show. We're all over the place.
MA won the cat's surprise. So.
Right.
MA. Yeah, that's right. MA, you're already getting mustard. You might as well give
Yeah.
a crack at the bread.
He actually won twice. He got the closest with the bread.
We'll do a Philly
Oh, he
Chris
did get
bread
the closest with
episode,
the
and
bread.
we'll send out some bread.
The bread, $3.
Oh, it's pretty inexpensive to make. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not bad.
Tisa's first rule of surviving the apocalypse: don't tell people where you live.
Right.
Well, if you knew anything about Columbia County, you'd drive around for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, they know where everybody is now, anyway.
And then they pick the wrong place if they go to Jeremy's. It's like, I immediately regret this decision.
right. Wait, who is
You don't
this
just
guy
shoot,
again?
shoot two shots in the air.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, warning shots. Like that's what Biden would
Price
do,
is
right?
Bread price is right. All right. We hope everybody has any New Year's resolutions.
Oh, I thought we were going to do predictions.
Predictions. All right. Well, do predictions.
You always make us do it.
I guess I already did mine with the.
Oh, we
financial
should. Did we
stuff,
go
yeah.
back to last year and talk about
I was thinking that.
Excuse
do
me.
that?
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what we said was going to happen.
I think I said Civil War.
Let's pull some of those episodes.
Liberty said Civil War.
I mean, J6, January 6th. They're
Well,
kinda...
we're kind of there. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're so fragmented, and everybody's pretty big on hating each other, depending on their belief systems right now. So we're quite divided, I suppose, right? Country divided,
Yeah.
sadly. Sadly, yeah. Maybe we should put a little New Year's thing together. We'll go back and look at some of the episodes from last year and put something together. I might have another video to release next week too, maybe, possibly.
Just kidding. I was totally positive. Billy Chris actually died a week ago.
Right, that's right. I'm actually not here.
He's,
Then he
he's
would
an
be stuck.
imposter, Billy Chris.
Yeah, they
He would
cloned
be
me.
He's
stuck
actually
in the
he's
crowd.
one of those
Or-
holograms like what they did with Stan Lee.
Right.
Does anybody remember when there was that whole thing? There's a hoax where they claimed that Paul McCartney was dead and that there was some new stand-in.
I don't know if
Remember
I heard that one. When was that? Like a long time ago? You
It
mean?
was
Oh,
a
a long
long
time
time
ago.
ago,
Oh,
you
okay.
old
Well, it was a
person.
long time ago, and then it was debunked. Like they figured out that the Beatles were playing with everybody and stirring up publicity. And then, fairly recently,
They're saying that about Chappelle now.
And then he
like
actually
within the
died.
last 10 years, there's a new documentary that came out on Netflix called Paul McCartney Really Is Dead.
Oh, really?
And I remember people coming to me and talking about it, and 'cause I'm a pretty big Beatles fan, but they were talking about it and telling me all these things, and I was like, this sounds like the same stuff that they were saying in like the 60s and turned out not to be
Interesting.
true.
Right.
And the documentary, it's not a real documentary. I don't know what you would call it, but the video
Right.
is
Fakey-mentary.
basically the same old. They like recycled all of the old hoax things,
That's interesting.
and it was new to a lot of people who had not known about it, and so they found it extremely interesting.
Maybe it's real then, and they're trying to cover it up.
Oh, a lot of things that they said made zero sense. It was totally illogical. A lot of it completely unbelievable. It was entertaining. I ended up watching it. I was like, I already did like serious research into all this stuff, so I know why what you're saying isn't true.
Right. That's interesting.
You know,
some things do get recycled like
Chris, I
Hey,
feel
why
like
not, right? If this
Yeah.
generation didn't know about it and they didn't live through that original Paul McCartney hoax,
that. Sure.
then, well, did you see the new Beatles documentary, Get Back?
No, you were telling me about that. Isn't that the one that has the 3 parts or something?
It's 3 parts, 3
Yeah.
hours apiece. So it's 9
Maybe when I
hours
get
worth of
back, we
footage.
can. You said you wouldn't mind watching it again, right?
I would definitely watch it.
Yeah.
again. Dude, at 9 hours, I would have watched another 9.
To do a watch party.
I would have watched another 9.
That'd be cool.
I've never seen the Beatles, and because obviously I wasn't around when they were like you. I didn't have the pleasure of
Right. Yeah.
seeing them in black and white
I was
television.
Pretty old when they were young. Yeah. I did have black. We did have black and white TV though in the kitchen,
can't-
little one, kitchen one.
You saw them
I had
on
black and
Ed
white
Sullivan the day after you started collecting Social Security, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's right.
But I was not around, so I never had the opportunity to see them like this. Meaning, the footage is so clear.
You were saying that, yeah. Well, it's
so
probably
clear.
original
So
film,
it's
and then
almost
they.
like it's like you're seeing them in present day, but they're young. You know, you're seeing Paul McCartney at 27, 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like nothing I've ever seen. And you're seeing them interact behind the scenes just totally naturally, the way they did an incredible amount of screwing around in the studio, just like total goofing off.
Right.
I don't know how I don't know if I would have been able to tolerate it if I was involved with the project.
Okay.
Like, come on, guys, we got work to do here.
Right. That's
And
interesting.
they're sitting there singing songs, like trying to sing songs with their teeth closed and stuff. John and Paul.
Hey,
Oh,
oi, mate.
ridiculous.
Hey, are you
They
able
were
to sing Yellow
probably-
Submarine while holding your tongue?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Total ridiculous.
They were probably
stuff
like tripping out or something. They used to do that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, didn't they?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, some very
Possibly.
strange
But
stories.
there's
I heard.
so many developments. There's one moment in the documentary. I really don't want to spoil it for people, but something happens, and it's something that basically you get to watch him come up with a song that we all know, like in its
Right.
infant stages.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And watch the
cool,
way
right.
people react to it.
Yeah.
And when it happened, and you're seeing this happen,
Right. That's pretty wild.
it's like
yeah.
the hair on your arms stand
Sure.
up. It, like,
Sure.
oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm witnessing this while it's
Right.
happening. And you could see that everybody around them is got the same look in their face. And I asked Liberty after the fact because I heard that she watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did you watch that part with this? And she was like, dude, hair on my arm stood up. I got the goosebumps. And I was like, so it's not just me. And then I talked to Rich, and I was like, did you watch it? He's like, yeah, man, love the Beatles. Yeah, that's my best Rich impression. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, love the Beatles. So I was like, did you see the part where this? He's like, I said, did you notice anything in there that really caught you by surprise and stood
Right.
out to you? He was like, well, there was this one part. And he's like, describing the part that
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
cool.
about.
Right.
So like everybody in my circle who's seen this,
yeah.
it's been like a very impactful sort of scene. So if you like the Beatles at all,
Yeah, I'd love to
definitely
see it
check
with you. You know,
you
I
might
like
be
'em.
irritated about giving money to Disney Plus.
Oh,
But give them your $7, watch it for the month, and then cancel if
right.
you're that upset about it.
Then cancel it. You guys are missing out on a good
Create a new
conversation.
email and get it for free.
We're all moving to Jeremy.
Don't give
We're going to have a commune, and we're all moving to Jeremy's place in Columbia County.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Including T&M and
All right,
SM.
let me read them to everybody so catch up. So Rita said
And
6
also-
months ago I went to purchase a pound of decent Watson roast beef. It was $19 a pound. I've heard about that from people. Jeremy says, is Joe Biden going to announce he's not going to run for re-election this upcoming year? Oh, do you want to go around the horn with that, Chris? Do you think he's going to announce he's not running?
Yeah, I wonder about that. That's interesting, man.
I think
you
he's
know,
going to stick with it through this year.
yeah,
I think he will, unless he dies.
he's not looking good, man. I don't think he's going to be around.
Or if for health reasons. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that. I'm not saying that I'm wishing that.
No, of course not.
Certainly not. And I've
Yeah.
been very vocal on this program about how there have
Yeah.
been situations where I felt bad for him because I
Sure.
feel like he's being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
But somebody gets to be older. It's
Mm-hmm. No, the probability of
I'll put it this
happening.
way: unless he physically can't continue with the position, right?
Right.
Unless it's not physically possible or feasible,
Yeah.
I think he's going to stick with it through the entire year. I
think he'll keep saying it. His ego is so
I'm gonna say
high.
no.
You know?
Liberty.
I think somebody might tell him not to, like a doctor. It's going to be kind of like a thing during one of his terms. I don't know if he'll run again. I don't know. I'm more interested if Trump runs again, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Trump's getting some heat right now for the comments he made about
Yeah.
the booster and stuff. Do you guys see that?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what did he say? He said, "Listen, I think it works. We did. We worked pretty hard to get this thing out there. I
Yeah.
took it. I think it's a good thing, but I'm not telling you what to do.
Right.
Government shouldn't be involved in mandating anything."
Hmm. I feel like, well, some
Not
people
that
I
bad.
think are expressing they feel like he flipped
He's
sides.
saying
or
that he's
something.
like flip side, but he never said this vaccine that I worked so hard to
Right.
get out there to people is deadly, is going to make
Right.
you jobs. He never
True.
said that.
No,
right?
he never did do that. Yeah, I wouldn't
Never
call it a
said
flip.
that. Never
I'm
said-
kind of
he's
saying what
always-
people are saying. Yeah.
I was surprised that more of his supporters didn't tout this as a big accomplishment towards the beginning. I
Sure.
was surprised that at the beginning we didn't see more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's always tried to play that spin on it, right?
Yeah. Right.
That hey, I did something that everybody said I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying we're gonna have it then. We'll have it in December. I'm telling you, it's gonna be fantastic. And everyone was like, he's not gonna have it in December. Could you imagine if that was that were announced prior to the election? Do you think that would have been good or bad for him?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
If they announced before the election that the vaccine was going to be ready to roll out by December, would that have been good or bad for him?
Probably good, right?
I think it would have been indifferent.
Just a wash.
Maybe I think it would probably have been good. I think.
I think it would have
What
been.
do you think, Mike?
I think people were looking for a vaccine back then. No.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Right.
I think.
Now we're washing fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You're like soaping fruit, right? One
What's that?
doctor. There's the one
I was
doctor
like
made
washing
this
everything
video.
with dish soap, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
This
somebody said
doctor
you can
made
get
this
dish
video
soap
like telling people to
toxicity.
soak their fruit in soap water in their
Oh,
kitchen
really?
sink.
Because it was in the store, like out
Yeah,
exposed.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
When
Yeah,
we didn't
but
know
then
anything about this, like
Right.
could it last on surfaces and stuff? He was telling everybody soak your fruit in
Right.
soap water for this amount of time, and
Yeah, there was some wacky stuff
people were
going
coming
on.
out and being like, whoa, you'll be on the you will die on the toilet like Elvis if you you soak your fruit in dish soap.
man.
meanwhile, Billy Chris is walking around the streets like,
People
come at
don't
me.
generally
come
die
at
on the
me, bro."
toilet, but it'll be
Wait,
the king and you.
Right.
Wait. We need a year in review. And
Yeah.
while we were washing fruit, Philly Chris and other people were going crazy. Philly Chris is on the streets like, come at me, bro. He was like going
All
every
over the
community. Philly Chris was wild now, man.
It was like at a homeless shelter, right?
Yeah, man. I was like, I'm going out. It was wild being out in the city. I have
No
some interesting
masks.
pictures and video, like where it was like something out of a movie. I've never seen so few people down there. I went down to the city hall when the National Guard had surrounded, and there was nobody. I mean, I lived in Center City for years, so I know it fairly well. And it was like something out of a, like an apocalyptic movie. It was wild.
And Philly Chris was at the protest. Philly Chris was at it all.
I remember though when they
Like
started
to see
setting
it.
up the stadium, and you were like, "Dude, this could be really bad." Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that's right. I went
Remember that?
by and they had all the tents out. Yeah, it was pretty weird. Yeah.
You're gonna see bodies stacked
Right.
upon bodies,
That's-
bro.
I mean,
This is not my opinion.
Right.
Uh,
When you started looking back at the
That's
Spanish
that's
flu
the
and
actual
stuff,
transcript from a 3 a.m. telephone conversation between Mike G and Philly Chris. That the stadium was going to be filled to the ceiling with dead bodies,
Right.
and it was not his opinion.
Well, based on what they were telling us at the time, too, it certainly, sounding that way. But we know
you
that
were
was
saying
not, yeah.
at the time,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you off easy.
Yeah.
for this. At the time, you were saying that they were lying about the numbers on the low end. You were concerned that, and you know what? To a degree, you were right because China definitely did that.
Yeah, I think from what we were
China
seeing.
absolutely did that. China absolutely did not.
Right.
They made it seem better than it was.
Yeah,
right?
they were doing the opposite, and then when it got here, then it kind of went the other way. So it's so much weird stuff going on both
They're
sides.
lower.
Right.
The
Right.
numbers that they were given, the low numbers.
Yeah, they were
not accurate.
underreporting it. They were
And that's
underreporting.
that. You know that video clip they always show with Pompeo saying this is a live exercise we're doing here, and Trump says,
Yeah.
should have told us sooner."
Yeah, that's bizarre. That was
Well, people, if you watch the whole thing, it actually makes sense.
Mhm.
He's saying, China gave us some really bad information at the beginning,
Mhm.
and in turn, that has made our response very difficult because we were dealing with bad information. We weren't able to adequately prepare. So us doing this is like spur of the moment. We're doing it real time, is what he's
Right.
saying. We're having to respond immediately in the here and now.
Yeah.
And Trump said, yes, that wasn't right. They should have told us sooner. Meaning
Right.
saying China should have not lied to us and given us the correct information.
Sure. Well, they have a history of doing that. Yeah.
So you were right about that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah. Well, it's a mess. It's still a mess. It's still all over the place. And T. Arnold makes a good point there. Trump should be distancing himself from the jab at this point. It has been proven to be ineffective and deadly. And, we went over the VAERS data there when we had Rich on. Rick.
Looks like
We had
Mike
Rick on,
froze up
excuse me.
there, or he's just stunned.
What's that?
We got
looks
over
like-
here. 2022
Oh, okay.
prediction. Food supply runs out. TNA moved to Columbia County to live with Jeremy. M says
I'm
TNA to
actually-
Jeremy. Good deal for him.
Yeah.
Thursa says my prediction is going to get worse. I think I'm with Thursa.
Yeah.
That's a safe bet, bro. Jeremy Rita, right now I have a small butcher shop I go to. I pay $8.99 for ribeye, $7.99 for New York strip. What?
Wow.
What?
In the Bronx somewhere.
$1 a pound for pork chops.
It's not bad.
35 to 40. $35 for 40 pounds of chicken.
Wow.
It's insane. I buy them
Gotta
both.
find out where that place is.
Rita said Paul McCartney's double has a speech difference and his earlobes are different from the original Paul. Oh, so Rita
There
thinks
we go.
Paul
There we
really is
go.
dead.
Well, they say the earlobes are like fingerprints.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
They're the same. They
They're
don't
saying
get
that about
bigger?
Chappelle. That Chappelle's like some sort of clone now
But you
too.
ever see like old men that their ears are like huge and their nose is huge and everything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
What's it all about?
They do get bigger. They keep
Yeah,
growing.
I was gonna say they do change, or he could have
Mhm.
gotten surgery.
If you got plastic surgery.
That's something every superstar wants. They want earlobe surgery.
Yeah.
They want to have surgery on their earlobes, get
Earlobe
longer
reduction
ones.
surgery.
Rita says, Jeremy, no, that's great. I don't eat a lot of meat, but love a good
You can
steak.
tell a lot about a man by the size of his earlobes. I'm just saying.
Jeremy can respond if he's gonna let us all move into Columbia County.
Thursday says we're all moving to Jeremy's neighborhood. Liberty, Jeremy, we become. Jeremy says I have 3 boys in sports. Weightlifting, we can't get enough protein in my house. He says yes.
By then,
At Jeremy's, we're bringing the generator. M
By then we'll-
says he will stick with it through midterms, then he will be removed. Oh, that's talking about Uncle Creepy.
Yeah. Well, there's actually an
so you think
interesting
after-
video.
So he's got until after next November. So he'll probably make it through the year, though. I think that's fair, right?
Well,
I think so.
I think what's going to
Probably,
happen.
Maybe not.
I think what's going to happen is best said by Gerald Ford. I think the next president is going to be a woman.
Oh yeah.
And he
What
predicted.
video are you talking about? Nobody
I've
knows
seen
that.
that
Shut
one.
up,
video,
Mike!
guys.
Could you
Yeah,
get a
you-
young lady wanting to
Do
become
you remember that
president of the
time in the
United
Sanford
States?
and Son episode from
Well, I hope we do
1977?
have
Mike.
a young lady at some point
Where he
become
buys the
president
Whopper
of
chopper.
the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen,
Back it up. Go to
because
the
it
beginning. I was
won't
busy making fun of
happen.
you.
Jeez.
What?
I was busy making fun of you.
Hey guys,
I don't
hold
know how
on.
to start.
Gigi,
I don't know this video. I only know the video about
Could you get
Guys,
Shut up,
Sanford
Mike!
buys the Whopper chopper from the traveling salesman who's going door to door and selling the devices.
Mike,
I was
Yes.
not positive, DJ. I was
Gigi
negative.
just walked into
Thanks for
the
coming
chat.
back. Yeah, thanks for coming back.
Oh
DJ.
wow! So
Yeah.
she tuned in.
Everybody welcome
specifically.
DJ.
DG.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, DG.
DG's gonna have to go back and watch this entire episode.
Yeah.
This has been all fireworks.
We had such a
All
good
fireworks.
time without you.
Definitely a good episode. Yeah, he does keep saying President Harris, Rita. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if
I think
everybody's
he's just forgetting.
if everybody's
He
gonna
also-
shut
he
up
also
now.
said, "I agree. Let's go, Brandon." So,
Mm,
whatever.
that's true.
Whatever that means. Who's Brandon? Is that me?
I agree.
I agree. Let's go, Brandon. Who's
He's like, "Are
Brandon
you
again?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, so let's go, Brandon.
Where are you from again, caller? Where do you live?
I'm from Alabama.
Alabama.
No, wait.
Arkansas.
I'm from Arkansas.
Bill. The chlamydia has gotten to your brain.
What do you mean? That's the one I don't have. That's the one Hillary tried to give to me. I wouldn't let her.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say the comment that I was going to come up with. I don't know if I can say on air. I think it's probably fine, and it's funny. I'm laughing in my head, but
Yeah.
I guess I got to be careful.
Wow, DG going
I
straight
don't want
for
to go
the
too
jugular.
far.
Touch the third rail.
I don't want Susan to burn my house down.
DG went straight for the jugular on Russ.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Will 2022 be without?
We can only hope. DG.
Seems like DG knows something.
Be without a
Do you get a wish when the ball's dropping, kind of like when you blow out the candles?
Right.
All right, we ready to watch this video? You done?
Let's
you done
do it.
Yakking.
Hit it, Russ.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
of a young lady wanting to become president of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become president of the United States.
I hope that too.
I can tell you how I think it will happen,
Can't wait to see her on TV.
because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law.
I'm not sure he's gonna die. I'm sure he's gonna step down in disgrace if he has any sense.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he'll be right. Maybe he called it in '89. We'll see. Thank you, DJ.
There.
Appreciate
What
that.
do you mean? Mike, what does this text mean? He's not there.
Never mind.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Well,
Next time. We'll do it next time.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
Of course you don't.
Righty.
I can't say. I'm itching to say things right now, but I can't.
I know.
I can't.
Just go ahead and say it. Let it rip. Let it rip.
Hold on,
If
everybody.
you disgrace
buckle up.
yourself, we can always cut it out. And hope that it isn't played 20 years later at your own detriment.
Oh no, DG's
It won't
gonna
be at
leave.
Mike's detriment.
DG was not a fan of Slick Willie, and
Oh,
I was
she
like,
likes Slick Willie.
I think the accent's good, but it's teetering.
What do you mean?
It's a thing that Liberty Lee would advise Philly, Chris, Russ, and Mike to stay on this straight edge.
Oh, well, that means we got to do it.
Touching the third rail? Are we touching the third rail?
Literally. Go through our most watched videos.
Oh, here we go.
And
Here
that
we
is
go.
a highlight reel of things Liberty told me not to do.
Right.
I run things by her and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? She's like, no, definitely not. I'm like, yes, we gotta
do it.
It's gonna be a hit.
It's gonna work. Good litmus
Gold, I
test,
tell
right? That is pretty funny.
Well, Mike, it is a tradition that we hug the third rail and wet our pants.
Mm-hmm.
So you may as well just say what you're going to say.
No, I can't say it.
Yeah.
Why can't you say it? Why can't you say it?
Text it and I'll make the call.
Talking about body parts and stuff.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
then I would say no. I would err on the side of caution, just like the Sick Willie.
And Mike was gonna say.
Put it in the doc.
Whatever I warn you guys against becomes like the best content. So
Zucchini.
I gotta keep with my instincts.
I'm not
here.
gonna say that because you could say that. I can't say that on air.
Right.
What wait, I wondered what he wants to say.
Some things we just can't say.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Some things are just better left unsaid.
All right. I guess our other guest's not going to be joining us.
No, next time. Tune in next week. Celebrity
Oh.
guest coming.
Russ wasn't able to contact him, I guess.
Seriously, Christopher
What?
Walken's right. Gonna be on next week for a little bit there. Some cowbell.
Really, Chris, take the reins for a
All
minute.
right. Okay. All right. I guess we're pretty much
Whoa.
about to wrap up here anyway, but so maybe we should talk a little bit about the New Year's resolutions there. Did anybody want to share anything? Russ, you got any New Year's resolutions? Anything you're gonna change or do for yourself there?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
I think,
Russ.
I think the best
on,
I'm
Russ.
hoping to do is reduce some credit card debt.
Reduce
It's not
some
very
debt,
exciting,
yeah.
but that's like a year-round thing, though.
Okay.
It's not really
okay.
specific to New Year's.
All right. It's a good thing to do. Yeah. Pay yourself first, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Liberty?
Is that like a public service announcement?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pay off your debt in 2022. Just gave everybody.
Could still be, this is not financial
Inflation.
advice, but
Financial expert level 99. Pay your bills.
Yeah, right.
Paying
That's a dick.
paying your bills is generally good, unless it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah.
I don't know what exactly I predict. Oh wait, we're not on predictions. That's all I can
Well,
think of.
well, you have a
Good
prediction?
job.
You got a prediction?
No,
Throw
I
it
don't
out there.
have a prediction, but I have a just gut feeling about this COVID thing. Something is not right. Like just that how wrong they were about just the vaccines, that they were
Sure.
like, out there saying they are not. You cannot get COVID when you get the vaccine, and then boom, you're getting COVID, and then they just look the other way. They
Right.
don't say we're sorry. They don't admit it, or they don't. I would like them to say we don't know everything.
Well,
That's
that
all
would be
I want
nice.
to hear them say, and then I will trust people more.
Well, it'd be nice, but I don't think they're going to change their ways at this point, Liberty, unfortunately.
Right, but like, what is next with this, Chris? Because you're always sending us videos from Australia, and China had something where they were shaming people. Did anybody see that video?
No.
They're making people who weren't vaxxed. They were like shame walking them.
Sure.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't have a good feeling. I guess so. There's really no prediction. I just wanted to say that.
Well, they did just do a exercise regarding the financial system, and it seems like there's been a pattern of drills and exercises that seem to become reality. So I think something could happen. You know, we're seeing a lot of scams and hacks and things of that nature. So.
And I think we're headed towards like kind of what Elon was saying with this virtual reality and all of this stuff. Like we're all gonna have to face it at some point. With the whole scanning everything. Everybody's scanning things for currency. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Digital dollar. We've talked about that on the program. The possibility of a conversion from our fiat paper money, just like when they took us off the gold standard, back in 71 under Nixon, I believe it was. So they may suddenly say, hey, you have to turn in all your paper money and we're going to give you this wonderful digital dollar on your phone and everybody's going to be able to use that. I mean, they're already doing that in parts of China, like over in Shenzhen, China. Right. So hello, Amini. Welcome to the program.
Yes.
Well,
good evening. It looks like, it looks like we have somebody in the chat.
Welcome back.
It looks like we have somebody in the chat. Amani says, hello!
Oh, wait, we got somebody on the line?
We have somebody on the line.
Wait a minute, hold on. Who's that? Hello?
Who we got?
I recognize the voice a little bit there.
Silly Chris.
Hey, is this Chris?
This is. I want to say I don't have much time, but fantastic program.
Well, it's quite the honor to have you on, Mr. Walken. Big fan. This is really cool. I know that some folks said you might be able to make it, so welcome to the show. How are you doing? How was your holiday?
It was fantastic. I had a COVID test, and
oh, you did?
Would your audience prefer to put their guess as to the results of my test in a poll?
Yeah, I think. Well, we did some polls earlier, so we definitely should do a poll for you, and we appreciate you. This is the first time you've shared this publicly, correct?
It is. I've tested positive 9 times.
9 times, sorry?
Christopher Walken doesn't get COVID. COVID gets Walken.
That's how it works? Okay, all right. That makes sense. You're taking out the COVID.
I prefer when you do the program. I'm not so sure about that Mike G.
Well, it's funny. He happened to need to take an emergency call or something, I believe. So you called in at just the right time, and I'm super excited to have you on. And welcome, once again. I love all your movies. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I know Russ is too. And Liberty would like to meet you sometime. You should come in and do an in-person appearance, hopefully.
Is this Russell, the almost producer?
Yeah, that's the word on the street. That's right.
I don't think you understand.
Walken, do you have any
My
predictions
producer
for
level is 99.
Mm-hmm. What was that, Liberty?
Does Christopher Walken have any predictions for 2022?
My prediction is we will see terrible times, and we'll see fire in the middle of the streets. It will be like nothing you have ever seen before. There will be children crying on every street corner and people starving.
Wow, that's some intense stuff going on there. It sounds pretty wild.
In the middle of the streets, blood will be flowing. It will be extremely uncomfortable. There will be a shortage of mustard in every supermarket, and you'll have no choice but to purchase all of your year's worth of mustard through Mike G in the morning.
It sounds like Philly, but with mustard.
Does Slick Willie have any questions for Walken?
Yes, Slick Willie. I am a little congested, DG, yes.
I'm not a paid spokesperson. I will tell you that it is wise for everybody to purchase their year's worth of mustard through the Mike G in the Morning program immediately. You do not want to be left out in the cold on this one.
No, we should have that available pretty soon, folks. Definitely tune in. And, we'll try not to go along with the hyperinflation. We'll buy in bulk in those 5-gallon buckets we talked about. So, yeah, we'll definitely be making that available. Maybe you could endorse one. We'll have like a Christopher Walken edition with a cowbell on it or something. Would that work?
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more mustard.
More mustard. There we go. There we go. All right. Can we go with that as a logo or something on there? Did you give us your permission?
Absolutely. It'd be
All
my
right.
pleasure. It'd be an honor.
It'd be an honor.
And I'm thankful that you've had me on the program. Listen, I can't stay long. I'm very busy, but Happy New Year, and tell that Mike G to hand the reins of the show over to you, Philly Chris.
Well, I really appreciate the kind words and thank you for that. Maybe, when Mike's no longer part of the program, you can come on and co-host with me. Would you be into that?
I would love that.
That would be great. We were talking about replacing him anyway.
When you say we, you mean you and who else?
Me, Chris, Liberty, Susan was on
It's
board
my
with it too.
understanding that you have no friends.
I don't need friends to replace Mike G.
I'm glad you don't need any friends because you don't have any.
All my friends are online, like that clip that he asked me to play.
They're in the metaverse.
You have a job, Russ. They pay you for this.
My job is in the metaverse.
There we go. Yeah,
I sell
They pay
NFTs.
you- Russell, let me tell you something. If they pay you a penny to do this program, they should be requesting their penny back.
Yeah, and if they
With
paid me to
interest.
pay, if they paid me to play
You in
football,
court
should they
of
get their
law.
quarterback?
That's right. That's right. Well, I know we
Here's
know
the
you.
way to the program. I strongly consider suing the station for pain and suffering.
Punitive damages.
Damages.
Well, we do thank you for coming on. We know you have a hard cutoff, and I think I hear your helicopter in the background there to pick you up for your upcoming movie. Yeah, but thanks so much for coming on.
No, that's not what a helicopter sounds like, Chris. That sounded like a motorboat.
Mm.
You know what
Happy
a
New
helicopter
Year.
says, right? A helicopter says
Year,
fadoo,
Mr.
fadoo,
Walken.
fadoo.
Yes. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that jazz.
I'd much rather talk to him than Slick Willie.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, Slick Willie.
Is that supposed to be some kind of insult?
Yeah, I could use a Claritin. Thank you, DG. I have to get some of that. Yeah. How are you feeling, Liberty? You doing all right over there? You feeling okay now? We lose you?
You need Mucinex.
Yeah. DG
I
was saying that.
I'm actually doing okay. The nose burning, fatigue, and aches lasted for about 4 days, maybe, and then it calmed.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Well, that was cool. We had Christopher Walken on. How about that?
Yeah, we had Christopher Walken and
Little Slick Willie.
Slick Willie.
Oh, for goodness.
Oh, look, I can do emojis on here. Russ is gonna get
Heck
mad.
of a show for
Would
New
you
Year's here.
stop that?
That's pretty cool.
What was I gonna say? I liked hearing from the listeners what their predictions for 2022 were and New Year's resolutions.
Mike, you won't believe what happened. Chris Walken called in. Remember, he was going to call earlier, and you had to take that.
I missed it.
Yeah, seriously, it was crazy.
You gotta be kidding me.
We had a little cowbell and everything.
Well, next time, don't answer your emergency line.
Did
Yeah.
he at least recognize what a horrible producer Russ
He,
is?
he busted Russ's chops pretty good. Yeah, quite effectively. Actually, was
All right.
impressed.
Well,
Yeah, it was good.
joke's on him.
If
I don't know who Christopher Walken is.
if I was going to miss such a special occasion, I'm glad that he at least recognizes how terrible Russ is.
We were also talking about you a little bit, Mike, and how great of a show host you were.
Maybe if you could cut that segment up, Russ, tomorrow and put it on YouTube and Rumble, that would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Russ, maybe a New Year's surprise.
But you got to hear anything from the audience before we go? Did I miss?
Good.
You made well, Mr. Walken made people laugh. I think we have an
What was so
actor
funny
on our
about it?
hands who swallowed a turnip. Liberty, what's your New Year's resolution? And I told her she gave me one. And Philly Chris take a Claritin, and she said, and DG's pressuring me to give up Azon.
You should.
And I think our resident nurse is back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah, all right. Monty back in business.
Good stuff.
Good news.
Good news.
You're over at the range.
Thank God DG didn't hear about my BBB experience. So yeah, we'll just keep that for next show.
Stuff.
That I visited Bed Bath & Beyond. But
Good to see Monty back in action.
Hmm.
Missed all the bets on who was positive and negative. Thank God she's okay.
Yeah.
DG says, I don't do resolutions. No one is promised tomorrow. I take it one day at a time. Yeah, you know what I always hated? I'm just going to get this off my chest right now. Okay?
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to get this off my chest because I do that kind of thing on this program.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't stand as a competitive athlete, as somebody who needed a gym to do what I had to do. Whether it were high school or college, got to be in the gym every day, right?
Yeah.
Fine tuning this is what you do this is how I was able to pay for college.
Right.
Was through, performing as an athlete. So had to be in the gym every day. I couldn't stand the 2 weeks after January 1st or 4 weeks after January 1st, all these fat, lazy people who made New Year's resolutions.
Right.
Moving to lose it, Jumbo. I got to get on the rowing machine.
You're shoulder to shoulder with people. I felt like, dude, you're not going to be here in 3 weeks.
Right.
You're not coming back. You're not sticking with this. You're not coming back. You're going to leave here and going to eat donuts.
It's so true.
You're not going to change your life. Please. Just recognize that right now. This is going to be a waste of money.
Get out of my way. Yeah.
You're taking up the equipment for people like me who need it. And I'm here every day, all year.
Right. Yeah, that's so true, man. That's funny.
Stop with the charade, bro.
Right.
Let's get to sign a contract that you're actually going to stick with this, because I know you're not.
Yeah, right.
Just get out of here. Just do everybody a favor, right?
I was part of a gym once.
I couldn't stand that. Had these people in there, they'd be on the elliptical, or they'd be, just take it up space.
Getting their sweat all over the place.
Yeah, they're in the sauna, the sauna,
Right.
Everything's just go away. Come on.
Yeah, I think those gyms, they put so much into the marketing, but they make a ton of money too. Like Bailey's used to do those 3-year contracts.
3-year contract?
Yeah, I joined the one in King of Prussia. It used to be really nice.
Did you go?
Facility. I did.
all the fat
back
people
when I
came
did
to
go
town.
regularly, so I kind of understand what you're saying because you'd see those cycles. Back when I used to do that thing. When I was the ninja, nice ninja.
The nice ninja. I loved that video, by the way. That was
Did
awesome.
you? All right, yeah, we'll have to check it out again. I'm glad you enjoyed
Look
it.
at that head of hair on Philly.
Oh yeah, I had my curly mullet, man.
Jeremy.
The 80s, man. Yeah.
Jeremy
The
Miller.
mullet's making a little bit of a comeback. Have you noticed that?
I wish I still had it. Maybe I should get a wig or something and bring it back.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that though? That the
Yeah,
mullet's
little
kind of
bit.
making a comeback?
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, everything's
I
sort
think it's more of like an ironic thing. Like guys who do that are the same guys who get away with wearing like ridiculously short shorts and stuff, which is a
right.
mustache.
The mustache
yeah.
is coming back. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's for guys who get it's almost like not a serious thing,
That's right. Yeah, it's coming back around.
Guys,
it is funny
I have
though.
a
It
mullet.
looks good on some people too. It looks pretty good.
like if you did that when I was in high school, it would be like nobody would do that. Like you'd be way too embarrassed to do that.
Oh right, sure.
But now at least it's like, yeah, I got them. They'll
Right.
do it. Everybody recognizes that it's funny.
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of. I don't think they're taking it seriously.
No, it's like a lighter, less serious thing now.
Well, yeah.
So it's something I would do.
Yeah, we should do it. Yeah.
Guys, I have a mullet and a handlebar, right?
Well, of course you do. Yeah, of course. We know that. You're at the North Pole, man.
Kenny Powers makes it look cool.
Yeah.
Jeremy's with me. He hears me.
Yeah.
He says, "Holy
Of
crap!
all
Of
the bad
all the
things, I'm
bad
dreading
things,
the January and February gym goers. Get out of my way.
get out of my way, Tubby!
Yeah, that's funny.
Just move them out of the way. It's
so
like
true, though.
cow
It's so true.
tipping.
Yeah, New Year's resolutions that go out the window. Yeah.
They'll fall on
Well,
their back
I,
and they'll
I
be
think
stuck
it's
like a
indicative
turtle.
of people are at least trying, but it is hard. I mean, that just shows you how hard it is.
Says no fat shaming.
We're
Mm.
not shaming the fat. We're shaming the people.
That's right. Yeah, I'm shaming people who don't stick to.
It hurt my
don't see
feelings.
things through. That's all.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Most
That's all.
people. are
They're
like that,
inconsistent.
you know,
I'm
I've done that
shaming
too.
fakers. That's what it
Mhm.
is.
You know, they could have done a health initiative during this whole thing instead of closing the gyms down and keeping the drive-throughs open at all the fast food places. Like maybe they could have sent some checks out, you know, and some gyms along with it. You know, get Chuck Norris on TV teaching everybody how to use the total gym at home. Send everybody a
right.
total gym.
Could you
you know?
imagine that? Like if everybody got. I kind of did do that. I was doing like prison workouts all through the pandemic. and
Yeah,
everything.
right,
A lot
yeah.
of people got out of shape, and I felt like that was an opportunity for me to,
Yeah.
you know,
I was doing more
because
at
I
the
didn't do
beginning
any
of it, yeah.
seminars, right?
Right.
That frees up a couple hours during the evening.
No, it's a good use of your time, especially when your health could potentially be compromised.
Can you
You
imagine?
guys know I was trying to lose weight and go hiking. I was out in the woods a lot, you know,
Yeah.
taking pictures and
This
chasing
is
deer around.
TG's point about it says no fat shaming. I don't know if she's being sarcastic, but
sounds like
you know,
it. She
for
usually-
them to be, you know, proclaiming that they
Define
want
fat.
everybody to be safe, right? Proclaiming
Sure.
they want it would seem incumbent upon
Right.
everybody to not be obese because obesity is a comorbidity, isn't it?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, right.
If you're out of
No,
shape,
you're
you
not
got a
allowed to
worse shot
say
at
that.
beating
Fat
this thing.
people
So,
are beautiful.
Guys, ready for this breaking news?
Thank you, DG. Yeah.
American
up?
citizens will now be mandated to exercise daily, eat healthy, and consume 1 gallon of water daily. Proof of daily exercise will be mandatory. Blood pressure and cholesterol levels must be kept at acceptable levels. Failure to comply will result in termination of employment, restrictions on movement, and the restricted access to restaurants, grocery stores, and entertainment venues. This was by Mr. Ed Fordyce on Instagram.
Wouldn't that be something?
That's hysterical. I'm gonna
That
do
is,
that.
yeah.
I'm gonna institute that policy at my firm.
That might make more sense than what they're doing now.
You know, guys, can you imagine if they handled the pandemic differently? If, you know, in addition to the 2 weeks to flatten the curve, 2 years to flatten the economy, if they shipped everybody a gym, like a home gym type thing where you could imagine if everybody
need a
came.
home
No,
gym,
no, no, no,
bro.
no.
You
Imagine
need a
if
home
everybody came out of this pandemic just ripped.
Well, I just mentioned the thing about the total gym. You were here,
You missed like
Russ.
the
Were you
last
gone?
like.
Where'd you go?
It's like
Did you have a coma episode?
Yes, I did. I did.
Were you and I speaking in our own private foreign language?
No,
for
I
5
wasn't
minutes?
listening to you guys.
If anybody in the chat could understand the language that me and Billy Chris were talking for the last 5
You were shaming fat people.
if
It's
we
a
were
genius
speaking
idea, though,
some
Russ.
Secret language. Just let us know. I don't know. We do that sometimes. We break
Octave
out
on the Ike May.
we break into this.
I have aspirations to
indiscernible
become
totally
ripped, okay?
indiscernible language sometimes.
Say what
Thank
now?
you. I agree, Liberty. That makes sense.
I'm sorry, could you
But
say that
it's-
again, but in Let's Go Brandon?
Yeah,
Could go, but good.
that's funny.
Well, since our nurse resident put it out there,
Mhm.
they were saying that they had to see, they were in the ER, and now they're healthy and back at work. So I just
Yes.
wanna say we are
Sorry to
very
hear.
happy that you're back.
Good to hear. Glad you're well. Thanks for tuning in.
DG says no desire to go to the gym with all the people either admiring themselves or thinking the gym will help or solve their obesity problems.
I just want a
Well, I will tell you this, that a lot of, for whatever reason, a lot of these people think that, okay, I'm out of shape. I'm going to go on the bike nice and easy for 30 minutes a day
Yeah.
and continue to eat above maintenance calories and somehow I'll lose weight. It's, literally
Yeah,
impossible
I mean,
to
listen,
stay fat if you. I was someone who struggled with weight a lot as a kid.
Mhm.
I was a very
Good.
fat kid. I was so fat. and
How
Jeremy will
fat were
understand
ya?
this. There were weight restrictions for youth football,
Oh yeah.
and I was of the weight in fifth grade that I was playing. So I was 10 years old playing with 16-year-olds because of my weight.
No way. How much did you weigh?
I don't recall, but I will tell
Okay.
you this: that because I
He was so
playing,
heavy he didn't recall.
Well, I can tell you that
The fat crushed that part of his memory.
the team was based out of the projects in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And so we
cool.
played other teams, and we found out later that like there were all these
Oh, fat guy
people
just
playing
showed
in
up.
these
Perfect
leagues.
timing. You can't make this stuff up.
There were all these leagues,
Yeah.
all these other teams in the league that it turned out they were cheating. They had older guys playing
Oh yeah.
who were not even 16. So I'm 10
Wow.
years old on the offensive line, and I'm blocking guys with a guy like a 19-year-old with a mustache from the projects who's got a full-time job.
Right.
You know, he's like a mechanic down the road or something.
Like from the bench warmers.
I'm playing football against
That's
him.
funny, man.
So I get it. I'll be the first guy if there's somebody in there legitimately working hard and trying to keep up with nutrition and everything. I'm totally on their side. Totally support them.
Right on.
Not what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything other than that.
Yeah.
DG saying that thinking the gym will help solve their obesity problems. It will not. If you're
Right.
doing, half an hour on the bike or the elliptical and you're not eating right, because Jeff Cavalier, Athlete X, the strength trainer who used to be with the Mets and he does a lot of the professional wrestlers and stuff. He always says that the first 10 things you need to know about losing weight is nutrition, 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 nutrition. Because that's literally it.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Calories in versus calories out.
That's so much of it. Yeah.
Garbage in versus
Oh,
garbage
thank
out.
you, DG. I I did get tested and negative.
Yeah.
so. But am a
I don't
little
let anybody
congested,
influence
yeah.
my opinion, so that's why I sent that to T, and I think T is pretty bold and posts stuff on Instagram. I don't because I don't want to get into more details, but that public service announcement, with viruses, they are very unpredictable. So I just want to make my opinion very clear. They are unpredictable. They can hit everybody different, regardless if you're eating healthy and doing the right thing too. So that's why everybody in their own individual life has to decide what to do.
Right.
Thank you.
No. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna say that it's a bad idea to get in shape. That's ridiculous.
No, not about that. I'm saying the public service announcement. I'm saying
Might
just
be a
because
waste of time.
No,
Remember that
I'm
movie
saying-
Gung Ho?
I'm saying-
Who remembers that
no.
movie Gung Ho with the
No,
car
but-
factory? And these guys, the American guys, are lazy, and the Japanese guys come in and take over the American factory. And the guy's only able to negotiate a deal that if they break the Japanese record, they put out 20,000 cars in a month or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, right.
They get the raise.
Right.
And they were like, well, if we do half the cars, do we get half the raise? And that wasn't the deal. The Japanese guys had said no. But they weren't, the guys weren't buying into it. They were like, well, then if we get close and we don't make it, then we did all that work for nothing. And so then Michael Keaton lies to them and says, if you do half the cars, you get half the raise. And they work their butts off and they come up short. And, they don't get they weren't going to get the raise because they all thought they were going to get half the raise. But it's the same kind of thing. Like,
No, that's not what I was saying, because I have experience where I got a
so
virus.
I lost all this weight and I got COVID. It still didn't help me. For all this work, I didn't get couldn't get
That's
half
not
the
what I'm
raise.
saying. I just want to make it clear that viruses are unpredictable. I got a virus when I was younger that was so bad, and I was working out, eating healthy. Actually, I was at the gym every day, and I got a virus so viciously bad, just a normal virus that other people get, and it put me in the hospital. My liver was 3 times the size. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So
that is crazy.
I say
That's what you get for being healthy.
well, I'm just saying. So I just saying, don't be a fool just because you are. Yeah, it always helps. It always
fool,
helps to put
stay in
yourself in that
school.
position, 100%. Because if your cells are making new cells, they want good food to make those cells from, right? So I think it's great. Do the right thing. Eat the great food. Do not go get donuts for the vax, things like that. Those are silly ideas.
Don't put your donuts on your dashboard because the cops might think it's cocaine.
But the virus can hit everybody differently. So just watch out for yourself. That's what I'm saying.
There's the guy that you sent me, Liberty, who is writing the letter to liberal Santa Claus, and he's saying something about he wanted a McDonald's gift card because they announced that they're going to be putting messaging on their packaging, encouraging people to get the zucchini. And he said, and I really want to support a fine establishment like McDonald's that cares so much about our health.
Yeah, right. It is
Yes,
pretty
the
common.
food that literally does not decomposition. Wait, what's the word?
Yeah.
Decompose.
What's that word, Chris?
Well, wasn't there that guy who was on the show?
decomposes? Is that what
Wasn't
you
there
said?
that doctor who was on the show who did that study and put it on the internet?
See, DG has my back.
Didn't we have that doctor on the show like last year? Vietnam
who?
guy?
Who?
Which one was it?
Vietnam guy?
Fresh
Oh.
my memory.
Dr. L?
Yeah. Didn't he do like this study where he put
Yes, he didn't. There's a lot of people doing it, but he did a study where he actually had a McDonald's meal in his office for a year, and it just
for like
looks
a year.
pretty much the
preservatives are,
same. I mean, geez, my bananas are there, and they go, and my clementines, they go.
How does he not get rats?
Because
rats don't even want to eat it.
Wait, doesn't it have chemicals that keep the bugs away too?
Yeah, they probably won't eat it. There's
But
some.
they
The rats are disgusted by it.
That's right.
That's how you know it's not good.
I'm watching my pig here.
Well, some of the GMO food is like.
I can't eat McDonald's. It's beach season.
You cannot make that up though. Can you? The day that I saw that they were handing out donuts if you got the vax was the day that I just literally thought we were living in a different reality.
Right. Well, we
Like a
have
Twilight
that for,
Zone.
Totally.
I can imagine how that meeting went. How do we get more people to get the vax? Well, Americans are fat, so let's just bribe them with donuts. You know, if it works on the police, you know, it might work
some
for
reason,
everybody else.
for Monty, we're seeing it says the comment section closed. I'm unable to leave a comment on the main comment section.
What does that mean?
On a different video, maybe like an older video, or
We're still live. Amani,
yeah, we're
maybe.
still live right now. Maybe.
Some people are we still got the good group going, and I'm seeing.
Maybe Amani. Yeah, maybe she's watching from the beginning.
Oh,
I don't know.
you can fast
I
forward.
should chat to her and hear Amani. We can hear. We can see your comments.
That could be.
We're
That
still
could be.
live. Yeah, we're still live. Jeremy Miller just.
This might be a record show here.
I know I'm starving.
Yeah,
It's 3.5 hours. I think it's time to call it. What do you think,
I
Mike?
spent 6 hours in the car today.
Yeah, man, from
I had a meeting that was very far away.
my old stomping ground up there.
Yeah. Chris, you stomped everywhere.
Oh, I've been in here and there, Russell.
Yeah.
Mars
I've
is
been
cool.
everywhere, man.
I feel like Chris always seems so nonchalant but serious at the same time. I've really like it.
Yeah, Amani just said maybe it's live. So
We're live, Amani.
Maybe it's live.
Maybe.
Gee, I don't know. Maybe.
Amani.
it's like that one knucklehead who kept showing up in the comment section.
Is this live?
Yeah, remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
He would come like every single week for a while and ask, "Is this live? Is this live?"
Right.
His troll level was only 4.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
this
he's
number
definitely showing.
system? I feel like I missed something with that.
What?
Was that?
What are you talking
What's the number system? T was saying something about something level 99. Did I miss?
Well, Russ started it, didn't he?
Yeah, that was I'm a doctor and my science level is 99.
Oh, okay.
That's the highest level you can achieve in science is 99.
Like out of what? Like for what? What's the
Out of
scale?
99.
What do you mean?
I mean my
what
science
point?
level. My
What
science
99
level.
points do you have? Like smartness?
Science level 99.
99 love balloons.
Is that the what
No.
they're using for the vax?
Remember that song?
No. Have you never played like any kind of video games?
I did. I liked Mario a lot. And
Do
I
you
liked
play the
Zelda.
kind where you level up?
Level
Duck
up.
Hunt,
level up.
Zelda, that era.
Okay, well anyway, it's a reference to like RPGs
Welcome
and
to
beat 'em
NBA
ups.
Jam. Did you ever play NBA Jam, Chris?
Oh, and the boxing.
Not
one.
really. I've seen those games. They're pretty realistic, but I haven't played it yet.
Oh no! This is like Sega Genesis. This is.
Oh,
like
way back in the day.
Guys, I have an
okay,
original Genesis. You want to bring over that NBA Jam?
Oh,
We'll
I
have a
had Space
Look it
competition.
up right now.
Invaders.
Look it up right now.
Sonic.
Let's see if we can find NBA Jam for original Genesis. I
NBA
bet it's
Jam.
way expensive, but maybe not because
I
there's
bet
so
it's
many out there. They
worthless
sold
because
like
it's a
$1 billion.
sports game.
They have emulators you can play them in now.
No,
right, Russ?
no, I watched a documentary about it a little while
Hey,
ago.
Philly Chris.
Yeah.
I think you'd find this interesting that on the mass text that we send out
Yeah.
each week, for some reason, the text shows up in like a really strange symbol.
Oh, really?
Symbols that looks kind of like I don't know if it looks Japanese or
I think I'm turning Japanese. I
Oh,
really
wow.
think so.
It looks like at Home Depot.
Really?
You
Well,
can buy
check it out.
NBA Jam arcade two-player countertop. Like-
No, that's an emulator. It has a Raspberry Pi inside.
raspberry.
Raspberry Pi.
What?
It's
What
a
the heck
type
is
of.
that guy talking about?
It's like an Arduino, but it's different. It runs Linux. NBA Jam for Sega Genesis in its box is $15 on eBay.
But you see the countertop one, Russ?
Giving my
No,
secrets away.
I'm talking about the actual one.
But you see the countertop one? You were saying that there's something no good about that?
Yeah, it's an emulator. It's not the real thing.
I'm already.
Well, it's okay. It
No,
still
it's
play
not.
NBA Jam, and
like a
it feels like
simulation.
Oh, it's really small though. They just said the size
Yeah.
is really small.
I had a question.
Go ahead,
I
Liberty.
wonder how much it would be to get one of those big ones, right?
That'd be cool to get.
NBA
Well,
Jam.
The big arcade cabinets at Walmart are like $300,
Mm.
like
it?
for Pac-Man and stuff, and it only comes with like 3 games.
Says foreign. Okay, so they got one that's $3,700,
Mm.
and then one that's $300.
And here's one that actually goes into a Genesis that's 15.
Oh,
Big
Space
Buck World arcade machine. You remember those? Like you play the hunting game.
This is
Oh
pretty
yeah, I
500
remember that.
bucks.
That was pretty good.
$500.
Yeah, those are
What
actually
about House
like
of the Dead? I wonder if they have. You remember that game? How much fun was that?
Oh yeah, I think I remember that a little bit.
From the arcade.
I did like
Russ?
Space Invaders. Rita mentioned Space Invaders. That was fun. I like that.
Hey Russ,
Defender.
I put the I put the
Defender was-
reply
Certainly we could
symbols
get.
on the dock. Okay,
the what?
Russ. I told Philly Chris that there was like these strange symbols
Oh,
that are showing up with the mass
You
text.
got
I
to send
put
me a
it-
screenshot of it.
Yeah,
I put it in the
what's
doc.
with this
Oh.
Some of these
Chinese
House of the
voodoo?
Dead are eBay.
Uh,
Sega House of the Dead the arcade, 25 grand.
Oh, that's weird. What's
I
on
wonder
Yeah.
what that's all about.
I don't know what you're looking at, but they remade it for Wii, and it's like $10.
It's weird, Liberty.
Oh, the Terminator 2 for $700. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Had the two Uzi looking things on
They
it.
were
Mike,
good.
it's
Yeah, I
a good
remember
thing
that.
you're
That was
not
pretty
into
cool.
video games.
We'd start like as soon as you put the coins in, they would go Judgment Day.
Right.
Mhm.
Or that would be
House
fun.
of the Dead on PC, $26.99. House
I
of the
think
Dead
that my
3 for
basement's about to
Xbox,
have
$20.
Yeah, man.
What do you think?
Does
Yeah.
anybody out there know if you steam peas and then you leave them out for 2 hours, are they still good?
Yeah, they're fine.
Peas?
Yeah.
Are you trying to ask us something?
You eat them the next day, Liberty. You'll be fine.
Are you for real, Philly?
Oh, I'm serious. It's not like meat or anything.
Just put them in the crock pot.
Yeah, they'd be fine.
Probably need to heat them up again because they're no longer
Yeah,
heated, right?
yeah, you'd be all right. No.
I'm not going to survive the apocalypse.
You go to like buffets and stuff, and the food's in there for hours and hours.
Oh, yeah, that's well. Aren't they heated up though?
They are, but it's all right. Peas are fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take.
I
those.
heard that. Is it true that they put laxatives in a lot of those buffets that way?
I don't
Oh,
know.
I heard that too.
That'd be funny.
That would be pretty funny.
And then I also heard that the chicken is actually cat, but not.
Oh.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. You never know.
Wow, man.
That's. I mean, I heard it. I'm not saying I believed it. I heard it. You have to be so specific this day and age. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
DG says, I started cleaning out our storage room. I found an Atari, Xbox, no flip phone yet. Have a long way to go until I'm done. Which Atari was it? Because there were like, what were there, 3 or 4
There was a
iterations of Atari?
2600, and then there was the 5200.
And then the 70 something hundred.
Pole position was fun.
Wasn't there a 7,000 series?
I think Gary
Like
likes Pulses.
7,200?
I don't know about that one. I remember 5200 had the big, longer joystick instead of the square one with the little thing.
What was Jeremy responding to? His comment. I like it.
No idea.
Good advice.
Uh,
Good advice there, Jeremy. We should all listen to Jeremy because we're all
he
moving.
just says health.
No, above that he said.
Free to
That's
play Space Invaders. You know about that?
Yeah, I love the Space Invaders. Some of those old games were pretty cool because they were just.
Gary says Half-Life.
I think I remember that, but I don't know that.
Jeremy said, I get it. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and is able to handle their homeschooling. Every situation is different, but personally, I'm trying not to let any of this affect my kids' social and mental health. Good advice.
Good.
Boy, we have a variety of comments. Then read Gary's comment. Go ahead.
Jeremy, how dare you talk about serious issues when I'm looking at NBA Jam?
Okay, now read Gary's comment, somebody.
Did anyone play Half-Life? Happy New Year. My friends in college made brownies with laxative, and everyone on our floor had some. Needless to say, the entire floor ran out of toilet paper in a few hours.
That's awesome.
That's miserable.
Is there anything else in those brownies?
That's
I started cleaning out a storage room for Atari. Oh, I already read that.
Yeah, I read that.
Gary, that's horrifying.
You know what, Mike? If you want to show up to my house with NBA Jam on Sega Genesis, I will welcome that.
There you go.
I miss CB too. Where's CB?
How much does the Genesis cost?
I already have a Genesis. I have all the old systems.
Oh my gosh.
How much does
Hey, Russ,
Genesis cost?
how much gaming do you do a day?
Not that much anymore.
What would be like an average?
I don't know.
12
couple hours. Couple hours. I play games before bed. That's how I wind
Now,
down.
Are a lot of do you want an original Sega Genesis? Do you have to get
I
the
have
original?
yes, I have an original Sega Genesis.
Mike,
I have the
how
second
long are we
edition.
doing this for?
What?
The game stuff.
No, I don't know. I'm interested.
I have
People
two.
like it if
Maybe
I don't
nobody
like
else cares about it.
Wait, if I don't like it, then everybody
Conservative
likes
Talk Radio. You guys are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. Over here.
I have Sonic.
Likes it.
And
Only on the
tune
Freedom
into
Station.
Mike G to listen about Crash Bandicoot.
I have that too.
I love Crash
I
Bandicoot.
know. I played Crash Bandicoot at your house. Russ was the first person I saw after the lockdowns during the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
I went over to his place. Played Crash Bandicoot in the garage.
That's cool.
Imagine Russ being the first one you see after you
I was
emerge
just
from
gonna
a
say that's
pandemic.
exciting.
Russ in his slippers.
Yeah,
The North
me
Pole.
and my hairy
You
feet
know,
slippers
I
just
had not
playing
interacted
Crash.
with another human being in months, so I had nothing to compare it to. So it was a good time to see Russ.
So
That's
Russ,
a good way to
Time
ease
see
yourself
Russ.
back
It's
into
like,
civilization.
I guess it's been a while. I guess this is how all human beings
Yeah.
behave.
Look at the way he eats the pizza.
And I don't remember them being like that, but you know, it's been a long time.
Boy, things have changed.
Oh, Amani says they remember play Adam's Family on Sega.
Oh,
Is that
Are we gonna have to have a Sega day?
might
is that
have to.
Sega Day?
Sega Day.
We all go over Mike's house, and I bring the Sega. Somebody else brings the junk food. Somebody else, and everybody brings their own game. It's
Just talking
BYOG.
about staying in shape, Russ. Nobody's bringing the junk food.
I'll bring Chuck Norris.
We
Matter
can.
of fact,
You
you're-
know what?
you're only 50 push-ups
Somebody
to
can
spend.
bring Wii Fit. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I did see that looked awesome?
A cheeseburger.
It's called Oculus.
oh,
No,
the
no,
new
no,
thing?
no, 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 no. That's owned by Facebook. Facebook is evil.
The new
Oh,
thing, you
is it?
mean?
Yeah.
The
listen,
the
that thing
goggles?
scares me. How do people not knock into a wall?
Well,
Did you
no, but
try
they
it?
have like boxing.
They have
on it.
lighthouses.
I saw
They
the
have
boxing.
on it.
Mike, you have to try it. It's really immersive. I tried it recently.
I was
the
looking
Oculus?
at it.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, they're
you
gonna suck
box?
the kids right into
No, no,
the.
no.
No, there was this fighting thing though with guns and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
No,
You're being
which-
attacked by multiple attackers, and you
I
gotta.
would buy it solely for, and actually they have this other program you can get. I forget what it's called.
Beat
but-
Saber.
You hire you set it up. I think with a real baseball bat,
Oh, okay.
and you can do hit see live pitching and stuff like that.
Yeah, that you probably.
Like totally legit batting practice with the headset and everything.
It's pretty wild.
I said if this were around when I was in high school, I would have literally had no friends.
Well, yeah, that's what's happening.
As
right
it
now.
was, I spent Fridays, Saturday, when everybody's out partying, I was either in the gym or in the garage hitting baseballs off
Right.
the tee or working on the mechanics.
Yeah.
Doing
I
stuff
gotcha.
that not a lot of other kids my age were doing.
Yeah.
But if that were around, forget it. I would have never talked to anybody.
Yeah, my nephew has it, and he's on it, quite a bit. He's doing good in school, so he's taking care of his other stuff. But it's pretty wild. It's really immersive. I was trying it out.
But
and-
if you're using it as a baseball training tool,
Sure,
it's actually
sure.
going towards something.
Absolutely, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it's
there's some-
productive.
well, there's some really educational stuff they could do with it too if they do it right.
Yeah,
says, "I
like,
like
you could
pinball
put on the
machines." That would be cool
headset
to
and
get
you
a
could
pinball
do
school, yeah.
math.
How much does a pinball machine cost?
There's actually
real
kits
small
that you
ones
can
for the
build your own.
desktop?
No, like a real one.
a real one. I don't know. They'd probably get them for $500.
I like those.
I wonder if you could find a bar that's going out of business or something like
That'd
that.
be cool. The only problem with those things is they do require a lot of maintenance.
Oh, do they?
The old school ones.
You got to get like a pinball guy.
You need a
Where-
pinball
you
wizard. You
Find
need
a pinball repairman in the yellow pages.
Oh
right,
my
exactly. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
It's like nobody's called me in years.
Okay, so Jeremy sent us something else. It's a
Wow.
Pennsylvania Governor Wolf Sucks group
Oh yeah.
to join. He sent us on Instagram.
Little pizzas.
Looks
Sam's
like as
Club-
far as eBay
Sam's
is
Club
concerned,
sells a
Mike.
pinball machine for $700.
Okay. Oh, maybe a new one would be kind of cool, like a new old
Walmart.
school one. Yeah.
Walmart sells a haunted house 3D digital pinball machine for $500.
Time to deck out the basement.
What do you mean digital pinball? Does that mean it's like on a screen and has no moving
I hope
parts?
not. I want a real silver
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Real bumpers.
We'll build one.
I would want like a Simpsons one or something,
That'd be cool.
I'm trying to think of the ones that maybe.
Oh,
they
that's
got-
right. There is
they
that
got-
place
they
in
have
Malvern.
a Beatles pinball machine.
Actually, there is a place in Malvern. DJ's. I've been in there. That place is super cool. They got all kinds of old school. It's like an old school arcade. I think they sell
There's a
stuff
place
too,
in
don't they,
Malvern?
DG? Yeah. I didn't think about it until DG
What's it
just
called?
made the comment. I forget, but it's in a shopping center, and it's like
My neck of the woods, son.
if I remember correctly, it's in a shopping center. Where is that, DG?
There was an arcade, that
Arcade
might
Malvern
Yeah, it's like an old school
Pinball Gallery.
Yeah, something like that.
Are we still talking
Yeah,
about
Pinball
pinballs?
Gallery.
Oh
It
my
says Video
gosh.
Arcade, Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Gary,
well,
Gary says in Southampton too.
I know what
you
I'm
guys
doing. this
managed to
weekend.
keep the same level of listeners talking about.
Yeah,
So congratulations.
Hey, we're talking
Real
about
fans.
pinball.
right.
Good lord.
Forget politics. Make America
Well,
Why
great again,
talk
right?
about
I don't know what's
politics
going
when you
on
can
with the
talk
Pinball
about
Gallery,
pinball?
but it says they're closed Thursday, Friday, New Year's Eve holiday hours closed Saturday.
Oh, why?
What the heck is that?
Put a little
It's
mistletoe. out
mistletoe.
there. Mistletoe, la di di.
Billy, Chris, and Mike.
Does that show up?
I'm about
on
to
the-
kick Liberty from the
Oh, it
call.
says we will be closed for the holidays Monday 12/20 through Monday 1/3. We'll be enjoying time off with friends and family.
Oh.
Isn't that like the worst time to close your pinball store because everybody's off from school and some people are off from work and they
Yeah,
want to play
probably.
pinball and go to the arcade,
Yeah.
Probably.
right? If you were gonna own a pinball place,
Right.
Every time
Have a
Russ
New
says
Year's
something snowflake, I'm
promotion.
gonna put the snowflake.
I don't know. I don't own a pinball place or anything like that.
No.
But if I were going to, I'd
Still
probably want to have
pinball.
it open
Oh, we're
When
still on the pinballs.
people
Wow.
are off of work and school.
Who's a pinball connoisseur out there?
It looks like DG is.
There was an arcade that my dad took us to. I think it was for one of my sister's birthdays, and they, instead of having you pay per game per machine, they let you rent it for like 2 hours or you know, however many hours at a time. And,
kinda cool.
And you just
How do
play
we
as
get
many
thumbs
games
coming
as
up
you
on the
can.
screen? What's that all about?
Still
is it?
talking about pinballs?
Under React.
I feel like I'm definitely in the Twilight Zone now.
How are we getting all this stuff happening?
Oh, we're doing all these reactions to annoy Russ, Anything to annoy Russ.
Right. Russ said
Because
he didn't like
apparently
it, so.
Liberty and Chris are
There's-
both 12
there's
and
a
feel the need to
mistletoe for
use
Philly
emojis.
Chris.
It's where the heart is, where the react thing is.
Wait, a mistletoe for Philly, Chris, and Mike.
Yeah, there we go.
Where's the middle finger?
The middle finger.
Not during COVID, Philly, Chris.
Right, that's right. I tested
Wait,
negative.
how
so
do you
it's-
make it so it goes over somebody's face?
I don't know. It's like doing different
How
things.
are you doing that?
Me?
Wow, we've really gone off the deep end, huh?
Yeah,
I think you just click it a bunch of times instead of just once.
technology.
Goodbye, Amani.
It's like when you like.
All right. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I guess it's.
Wait, that's it? Okay.
Do
what,
the
4 hours
sign
show,
off.
We got a new record.
We could
Yeah,
really
thanks.
do. I could do this for us tonight. We're
I
gonna
know.
talk about fun
It's
stuff.
It's fun.
Yeah, you can talk about fun stuff, but maybe you should do like a last thing if anybody wants to say last parting words for 2021.
Okay. Everybody, stay safe. Hang on to your hat.
Hang on.
Here goes nothing.
peace
That's
and
my
love.
advice for 2022.
Anybody has advice for 2022? Put it in the chat. Or your last parting words for 2021 going to 2022.
I mean, we still
Billy,
have,
Chris,
we
Russ,
still have
anyone?
another
Peace and
day
love,
left.
everybody. I'll see you next year.
Chris just says peace and love. That's
Peace
it.
and love. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta guide these guys. They just like hop off. You gotta say goodbye.
Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody, and sticking around with us.
We don't
for
know
so
what
long.
tomorrow brings.
Yeah. Hopefully 2022 will be better, but I don't think so.
Should we slog on for 10 more minutes to make this a 4-hour show?
No.
Oh.
No?
I said there's always hope.
Thanks for tuning
Yeah.
in. Can I say the closing
Yeah,
now?
do
Yeah,
your
go
outro.
ahead, go ahead.
Everyone else, shut up.
Jeremy.
Amani says invest.
Good job, Jeremy.
May
Good
need that
job.
in 2022. Yeah.
It's like
that's
when
exactly.
you talk
Lube
to
level
Evan-
99.
Have you ever you talked to Evan Nappen on the phone, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Whenever he's done, he's just
Yeah.
like,
Bye,
okay,
Evan.
bye now, and that's it. Like it could
Right.
be like
Hold
a
on.
mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
like-
he's
Wait,
done,
guys,
he's done.
Say goodbye to everybody. Bye, Eric. Bye, DJ.
Love
Bye,
everybody.
Eric.
Peace
See you
and
in
love.
2022.
Good night, Amani. Good night.
Good night, Amani.
Good night, Jeremy.
Good night, DG.
Good night, Rita.
Good night, Rita.
Oh my
Good
god,
night,
it's like being
Jeremy.
on the
Night,
Cheaper by
Gary.
the Dozen at nighttime.
Everybody.
Everybody's
saying
saying
goodbye.
goodnight to everybody in
Well,
every combination
yeah.
ever.
Gary, you're
hour.
killing us.
Eric. Good night.
Happy New Year.
Good night, Liberty.
Gary says one more hour.
I see DG and Eric and Gary.
Shall we have a poll?
Oh my gosh, 22 will be excellent. I love that, DG. Yes, it'll be excellent.
Well, last year
Don't-
we did a ridiculous.
Don't
Good
get
night,
the
good
jab,
night, Dave.
Gary.
Dave Cressman. Good night. Scott.
I
Good
miss-
night, T. Good night, M.
Love you, mom and dad.
Who else?
Happy New Year,
Good
everybody.
night. We already said good night, Thurso.
Hey, I'm missing all of the things. Where's the comments?
Yes.
Good night to everybody.
Good night, mistletoe.
Good night, everybody. Shut up, Chris.
Thanks so much for always
Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us.
tuning in. And
A fun show. Good show.
Thank you for tolerating us.
it's supposed to be a law show. It started as a law show, so
Well, you know.
it went to pinballs.
Pinball wizard.
I mistyped shut up,
Hmm.
so I had to delete the comment.
Uh-oh. Lawyer up and shut
That's a
up.
perfect way to end 2021.
Yeah, lawyer up and shut up.
Message retracted.
Okay, all right, let's go. Let's roll this.
Here we go. Here we go.
I need
Ladies
to
and gentlemen, Mike G
package this
closing
up
out
for
the
tomorrow
show
and get some
for the
sleep.
last time in 2021. We'll see you next year, folks.
Bye, Felicia.
That's all the time we've got for today. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor Dave Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy. I'll be joining as your legal analyst. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. We miss you, Ellie. Daddy loves you.